All right, we are connecting, everybody. We are connecting. So give it a second. Just adjust the camera really quick. Perfect. All right, everybody. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be jumping on Twitch here today. We were on here yesterday doing an Alps build for a client commission. This is one I've been actually waiting on for a little bit, so I'm really excited to do this build. So I'm kind of going to go over the parts today. This is kind of a really interesting build. We're doing another Geon Works Frog TKL, but this is a really cool TKL. So this particular board the client found, they found this board on Mech Market, and it is a fully custom Cerakoted, which is really cool. So this is a really cool build. I think it's a really awesome Cerakote. So this is Cerakoted in a really nice white. I think it's Stormtrooper white, which looks really, really nice, really clean. And they also have the weight Cerakote is awesome black. So we're going for a black and white build on this, which is really sick. So we have our plate in here. I'll open up the case in a few minutes, and we'll get a look at the plate. So we're using, again, the plate was designed by Carolus over at carolingian.com, and the plate was cut by Tom over at Hype Keyboard. So another big cool kind of thing. For switches today, this is actually going to be my first client commission build using a switch that I haven't done a client commission, but I really enjoy. So these are going to be Alps SKCM White clicky switches. So I'm a big fan of clicky switches. I actually have I have all three Alps clicky switches on hand. So I have all three of them. So I'll grab the other two, which are really cool. So our other two clicky switches within the Alps lineup are going to be blues. Blues are probably the most well-known and probably one of the greatest clicky switches ever made. And also amber Alps are really good. So both blue Alps and white Alps have the same spring weight. Amber Alps are probably the heaviest of the Alps, which come with an 80-gram actuation force. So these clicky switches are good. The problem with blue and amber Alps, they're very cost prohibitive. They're very expensive. They're good switches, but they're very expensive. Like, for example, amber Alps come from a very specific model of Apple IIc that was produced in the 1980s. And they were only ever found in that specific model of Apple II. And that computer is relatively expensive. So amber Alps, like a set of 60, one of those computers can run you $200 to $300. So, and if you want to do like a TKL, you got to buy two of those. So you could be looking at $400 to $600 just to get the two computers to get amber Alps. They can be very expensive. Blue Alps aren't expensive as ambers, but they're still way more expensive than white Alps. So blue Alps, again, a set for a TKL could run you anywhere between $150 to $200+. So blue, and especially if you want really good condition blue Alps. So these are just the ones I have on hand, but I only ever put these in builds if a client is willing to pay the price for them. These are very expensive. So that's where white Alps come in. White Alps are, I think, the best option if you want a clicky Alp switch. These are great. These are very easily available. I have a metric crapload of these things on hand. So these are, and again, the boards you can get a board with white clicky Alps to harvest for like less than $100. So these are very affordable switches, and they're probably, are these as good as like blue or amber Alps? No, but these are going to be way better than like Cherry MX Blues or any clicky switch you find on like the Cherry MX side. So we're building white Alps today. Really, really good switch. I'm going to put my blue Alps and my amber Alps away. These are really great switches. I have two personal builds with these switches. I have a JO2 that has amber Alps, and I have my Geon Works F18XV2 SMKX edition has the blue Alps. So really good switches, but they're just really expensive. So but I do have a client commission in the works right now it's going to have blue Alps. So the client paid for them, so I just told them, like, FYI, they're not cheap. Give me a second. Turn that on. There we go. Get a little bit more light in here, everybody. So there we go. So we're going out. So those are our switches. Another thing too for keycaps, this is going to be a really cool build. The client opted to go with DCX keycaps, which are really cool. So we have one of the 6 DCX 9009 keycap sets. So these come from Signature Plastics. There's only 6 of these sets that were ever made. One thing about the DCS Alps keycaps, they're really expensive. 9009 at the time of this filming is the only one you can still find in stock, but like some of them more. But the other DCS sets for Alps are very expensive. I have 4 of them. I have 9009, I have Alpine Winter, I have Reaper, and then I have White on Black. I'm missing Ping Master and Yuri, but those 2 are just, I can't find them. They're hard. But what's nice about DCS, they are expensive. What's cool about them is you can use Cherry MX stabilizers, which is really nice. Alps pattern stabilizers are fantastic, and I love them. But there is something nice and convenient about being able to use Cherry MX stabilizers. So this is a really good set. So the client actually purchased these and had them shipped to me, as well as the case. So that was really nice. That just makes my life a little bit easier in terms of building and assembly. So we're using, again, DCS 9009. Since we're using Cherry MX stabilizers today, I asked the client what type of Cherry MX stabilizers they want, and they opted for Cherry clip-in stabs, which are really nice. So we're gonna, again, assemble these and get them installed in the board. Because again, whenever I have a client who wants to use DCS, I always just make sure we get the exact type of stabilizers they like. Everyone's preference is different. I'm a big fan of Duroc V2 or V3 stabilizers, but not everyone likes those. So that's why I always make sure we get what the client wants. And the last one is our PCB. This is kind of the heart of our build. This was designed by Carolus and Alec Tardy. They're 2 kind of the go-to guys within the kind of the modern Alps scene within the keyboard hobby, so they designed this together. So this is a really nice PCB. It supports a wide variety of layout. It also does support our Cherry MX stabilizers, which is really nice, which is what we're going to need for our keycaps. So really, really nice PCB. It supports every layout imaginable and pretty much all the TKL builds that I do, both for my personal collection and these client commissions, are using these Carolus TKL PCBs. What's really nice about this PCB, it's both in the H87 and H88 form factor. So if you're going to use an F13 TKL or an F12 TKL, if you want to do an 8K TKL, like split backspace, split right shift, split left shift, step caps lock, non-step caps lock, that's something that's really, really nice for the client. So you get a lot of really great options, and this fits pretty much in any board that takes an H87 or H88 PCB. So, and my always recommendation for Alps TKLs is going to be a Geon, and my #1 recommendation is the Geon Works Frog. I love this board. I own 2 of these in my personal collection, and I've done many client commission TKLs in Frogs. That's just an amazing, amazing case to work in, and it's a very affordable case. And I'll be completely honest, there are some days I grab my Frogs over my F18X V2. This is just a really good board. And again, I think Geon really kind of has knocked it out of the park with his Frog TKL line and just his Frog line in general, even with the 60%. I own all 3 of the Frog minis, so they're really, really awesome boards. So we're going to get the plate out here first, just so we can deal with our stabilizers and our keycaps. So we'll put the case over to the side. So we're going to work with our lubing our stabilizers first. So let's get them out. So we're doing a TKL, so we're going to use all 5 stabilizers. So let's get all those out. We'll get the stabilizers lubed, we'll get the wires lubed, and everything. So this kit does come with 7U and 6.25 spacebar wires. We're just going to be using the 7U because it is a wind keyless case. We'll put that wire to the side. We'll also get our 2U wires and put these ones over to the side as well. So these are going to be awesome. Love working with these with this one. So yeah, Cherry clip-ins, really great, awesome stabilizers. Also a really great price. So we got these from Canon Keys, which was really nice. So I'm just making sure we assemble these correctly. Perfect. I just want to see. I know this is a 1.2 millimeter PCB. I want to see if I need stabilizer shims for this one. So just give me a second, folks. Because that's just going to kind of determine what we're going to do. So do I need shims? Yeah, I need shims. Okay. Give me a second, folks. We're going to have to go get some stabilizer shims. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I have my stabilizer shims in. Give me a second. Alright, I think we're just going to use the pads. Give me a second. Let's find them. Give me a second. I gotta get some. Where the heck are you people? Gotta find my stab parts. Give me a second, friends. Where'd they go? Here we go. Alright, let's get my stabilizer pads out, and we'll get these shims out, friends. So, Also, if you're wondering what I'm wearing, today is the start of college football season, so I am a alumni and fan of USC. So, got my USC Trojans. I got my junior SEO jersey on. So, football season starts today. So, USC. I thought about going to the USC game today, but it's also like almost 100 degrees here in Los Angeles, and the Los Angeles Coliseum where USC plays has like no shade, and I'm like, I'm not going to the game today in the sun. I'm lazy, so that's what we're doing this. So. And we'll get some shims out. There we go. We got our little shims. So this is a 1.6 millimeter PCB. I'm sorry, 1.2. So we just want to make sure we put these little shims on. So just so our stabilizers are nice and solid. So let's place these on my PCB and we'll kind of go from there. So let's get these puppies on there. So yeah, the past few builds I've done have been using DCS. We're using Alps pattern stabilizers. So for this one, we are going to be using MX. Since we're doing a DCS set, we're doing our plate mount stabilizers for Cherry MX stabilizers. So I'm just putting these little shims on here. These are just going to make my life a little bit easier. So we're not dealing with any wobbly stabilizers. So we want to make sure these stabs are nice for the client. All right. Got that one. Get our shift. Let's get our space bar on here. So we're going with a 7U. Here, so let's just make sure our 7U is fine. Perfect. Perfect. Getting that one on. So good time. And again, those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much. It's a fun time. Usually have fun doing these builds. We're going to be on stream tomorrow as well, doing a personal build. I do have one more client build in the works right now that I need to build, but we're going to do a personal build tomorrow. I'm waiting on final agreement for the client just to make sure before we build that, just so, because we're soldering everything in. And once I build a build, I really don't want to take it apart. So I'm just waiting on a final word from the client. So we got a personal build from my collection that we're doing that we're also going to be taking to Keep Life, which will be really cool. So I will be at Keep Life here in Los Angeles again on September 6th, so in exactly 1 week. So if you're going to be at Keep Life here in Los Angeles, please come through and say hi. I will have all of my Alps builds on display in the community area. So if you definitely want to try Alps, you want to see some of my person builds, hey, if you try one of my builds and you're interested in possibly doing a commission or getting some Alps parts, like I'm going to be down to talk with people, come chat, come see the builds. We're going to have a ton of Alps builds. We'll also have a bunch of switches on display as well, so people can kind of get a feel for switches. Every build will have a different Alps type switch, so you can get kind of a nice feel for what Alps sound like, what they feel like. Every Alps switch is a little bit different, which is really nice. So again, definitely come by. If you're going to Keep Life, definitely come say hi. I love meeting people in the community. I love talking keyboards, sharing builds. I also want to see some of your builds if you're going. So definitely, I'd love to see some of the cool and crazy things that you guys are doing. There's a lot of great boards in the hobby right now. A lot of great releases happening. A lot of amazing designers doing really great work. So yeah, definitely come by and say hi. Like, I'd love to say hello to everybody, to as many people as possible. And again, I know one of the clients I built a Alps build for is going to be there. Epic Fax Keeps is going to be there. He's also based here in Southern California. I built him a Black Alps build, which was really, really sick in a KBD Fans 461E. His build is awesome. So he's going to have his Alps build on display at Keep Life. So you'll be able to see kind of a build that I've done for someone else that will also be on display at Keep Life, which is going to be nice. And I also and Keep Life is really cool because the entire event is actually a charity fundraiser. In addition to just being an event for all of us to kind of come together and just share the love of this hobby, it's also a fundraiser, which is really nice for charity. All the money that comes from this event will all be donated to charity. So it's a really good opportunity for us to go there, again, share the love of keyboards and technology, but also to just raise money for a good cause. There's going to be a ton of amazing vendors there. The vendor list is outstanding. Everyone from like Canon Keys to OmniType and a bunch of smaller creators are going to be there. I know a lot of the bigger people in the social media space, like Teja, are going to be there. So it's going to be a really, really cool event. I went last year for the first time, and it was just amazing meeting so many amazing people and also just seeing some of the amazing builds. Like, because it's really cool too. You get to also see some people who have some amazing boards, like stuff you probably have only ever seen pictures of. You never have seen in person, like some like OG OTD boards, or like original Janes, or like custom commission Singa boards, or even just more obscure boutique niche stuff, which is really cool. And of course, we also have some of our more mainstream boards that people just do amazing builds. So that's something that's just really kind of cool to see, like some of the amazing boards that people build, and just some of the more unique things that people have not ever seen, which is really cool. So that's really, really cool. So I love Keeb Life. It's going to be a fantastic time. And again, a huge shout out to Enomushi, Frank, aka Frank, who pretty much organizes the event. He's kind of the main organizer and the person who reaches out to a lot of these amazing people to come. So it's an amazing, amazing event, and I'm really excited to be there. So yeah, definitely, folks, if you're coming to Keeb Life, definitely come say hi. And I will have a bunch of I will have 12 Alps builds on display, possibly a 13th, we'll see. But we're gonna have a lot of cool Alps builds on display. So I definitely want you, if you definitely are curious about Alps and you're gonna be at Keeb Life, definitely come by my table and just check out my builds. And also definitely look for Epic Fax Keebs in his build, because there's some really, really cool stuff that we've done. So, all right, we got these little shims on here. That's just going to make sure our stabilizers aren't wobbly, because, again, this is a 1.2 millimeter PCB. So let's organize our stabilizers, and then we'll get these puppies lubed for the client. So we're doing some nice cherry clip-in stabilizers today. So really, really good stuff. So let's put that in. We'll put our 6U wire away. So this is going to be a super sick build. I'm really excited. I got some other really cool builds coming up in the future. I'm going to be doing my first like sponsored stream, where I'm going to be helping take a look at and promoting a board that's going on Group Buy. So if you're interested in like a right corner blocker 65%, I'm going to be one of the creators who's going to be building and reviewing the Keybay Tech Secret 65% board that's upcoming. It's going to be around, they're aiming for like between like $250, $300 for that board. It's made by my friend Chester over at Keybay Tech. So we should be getting the proto probably within the next, I'd say probably next month or so, to build on stream and to help promote the project. So if you're definitely looking for a 65%, that's like probably like sub $300, definitely take a look at the Secret from Keybay Tech. So I'm really excited for that project, and I'm really excited to kind of support Chester, and I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to do my first sponsored stream. And it's kind of cool because that board's going to be sent out to some of the bigger creators too as well. So like to be able to be like one of the creators who's going to be looking at the same board as like Alex Odos or Captain Sterling, to name a few, is going to be really, really cool. I'll be one of the smaller people looking at it, but I just want to help promote the board. Chester's a friend, and he's someone I really believe in, and we need more people like Chester at Keybay Tech in the hobby doing some amazing, amazing work. So they do some really cool stuff, and Chester has been has become a really good friend of mine. So I'm really excited to do that. So we're really good. So we're lubing these stabilizers here. So this will be fun. Again, I have some Alps builds that have DCS keycaps. So I mean, DCS keycaps are nice because these are a little bit easier to work with than like Cherry MX stabilizer. Than like Alps pattern stabilizers. Alps pattern stabilizers are fantastic. I mean, but they do have some of their quirks. You kind of have to learn how to work with them and how to like properly lube them. They're a little different than Cherry MX stabilizers. So these are really nice. I think you get the best of both worlds. You get the awesomeness that is Alps keycaps, but you get like the really nice, you get just the nice ease of use and installation with Cherry MX stabilizers. And it's really nice that like the Alps PCBs that exist support both, can include the stabilizer mounting points for, again, plate mount Cherry MX stabilizers. So like the Apple T PCBs and then Careless's PCBs, again, have the support for those, which is really nice. But again, I also do like using original pattern keycaps. So, I mean, especially like those old school Macintosh keycaps. So I've been doing a lot of builds with those. And those are fun builds to work with. So, really, really good stuff, everybody. So, definitely having a good time just working with these boards. And just showing people the love of Alps. I had a user, I've had users from different parts of the world reach out to me recently, which is cool. I've done a couple I'm based here in the United States, like here in Los Angeles. But I've had some clients reach out to me, some interested parties reach out to me in other parts of the world. Like I did a build for Chester at Keybay Tech up in Canada. I also had another person I built a board for in Canada. A few weeks ago, I built a board for a person in Singapore, which was really cool, and they got their build, and they were posting pictures of it, and they absolutely loved it. Earlier this week, I had someone from Russia reach out to me, which was really cool. So we're definitely like kind of talking details, see how we can kind of navigate kind of the current situation in the world right now to see if we can definitely do business and do a client. I think we should be fine. And then I've also had people in Europe reach out. I mean, I had someone in England reach out about potentially doing one, and I also had someone in Ireland reach out, which was really cool. So it's also just kind of really nice. I don't know, just getting some attention from people across Reddit or Discord or just in the online spaces who are just interested in getting and just like learning about Alps or wanting advice, or heck, even wanting like an Alps commission, which is really nice. I mean, if you're interested in like, if you want an Alps build, like I'm pretty transparent on pricing, like essentially how I do Alps commissions. It's the biggest determining factor. You have two things, like what switch type do you want, and do you want a TKL, do you want a 60%, or do you want a full size? Those are going to be kind of your three main options I recommend. So depending on what size board and what switches, that's really going to depend the price. And I basically just do the cost of parts, so like plate, PCB, switches, keycaps, and then I have an additional charge $100 on top of the cost of parts. That's just for my time. These Alps builds are very labor intensive, especially the restoration process on the switches. So I just I just have a fee of $100 on top of the cost of parts. I'm not here to like rip people off. Again, I'm a guy who's really doing this for fun. I know people who do like custom build commissions charge significantly more than what I charge. So I want to make Alps as accessible as possible. And also too, if you're on a tighter budget, like we can definitely go with like Alps that are more common. Like if you're on a really tight budget, like you could do like white clicky Alps or like black Alps, and we can get those for a relatively affordable price, and we can do a really, really fantastic build. I mean, I have one of my favorite Alps builds in my personal collection is my black Alps, and black Alps most people really don't like. Some people don't even bother with black Alps. They say, oh, they're really bad. I'm like, I like them. They're a really good tactile switch. And again, are there better tactile Alps? Yes, absolutely. But you can't beat the price of like black Alps, or even like what we're doing today for white clicky Alps. They're really good clicky switches. And even like the switches that people say are like bad within the Alps line, like say like black Alps or like white Alps, they're way better than any tactile or clicky switches from like the Cherry MX side. So that's just my opinion. So, all right, what is up, Welvin Dagger? So yeah, it's a fun time, everybody. So we're doing a build here. I'm doing a Alps build with that uses DCX keycaps. So we're lubing Cherry MX stabilizers. So when you do an Alps build with DCX keycaps, it's kind of a hybrid between Cherry MX and Alps. So most of the time, when you do Alps, you're very limited on keycap options. So it's not going to be like the Cherry MX world where you get to have like this amazing array of all these manufacturers who have keycaps, every color scheme and theme imaginable. You're very limited. Like on Alps keycaps, you're basically dealing with beige, white, and like some black. Realistically, it's very, very limited. What's up, everybody? So what it is, so like you have options like original Alps keycaps. So this could be like Macintosh. Those could be like from Silicon Graphics, like OmniKey, anyone who produced original Alps keycaps in the back in the day. Those are great. Some of them are more expensive than others. There are some Alps keycap sets that are very, very expensive just because they're so rare. Salmons or oranges are also very affordable. I mean, I can show you too. Like I honestly recommend, I've been doing I'll tell you my two most popular switch types are going to be oranges and green Alps. Like a lot of people really like linears and orange Alps. Unless someone's on an extremely tight budget, I really recommend doing orange Alps. That's my kind of number one go-to. Now, if someone really has the money, if you want the best tactiles, go brown Alps, but you're looking like $4 to $5 to switch. And I do have a set of brown Alps, but I'm saving them for an eventual build that I've actually helped contribute to design the board and kind of help with the team of it. So, but like I do have like on hand, like for example, let me pull up my. So like I do have like salmon Alps. Salmon Alps are really, really good. They're at 69 gram actuation force. These are really good. So like we got salmon Alps on hand. What the heck else do I got? So like my two most popular, like for example, I got a truckload of orange Alps. The build we did last night on stream was orange Alps. But like the most popular are green Alps. Now my only problem with green Alps, I have a lot of Going forward, and the next person who asks for like a Green Alps commission, I'm probably going to have to charge a little more for the switches, and I'll kind of tell you why. I've been having problems with Green Alps, a lot of problems with Green Alps. I have a metric crap load of these things on hand. My problem is the switch plates, the part with the pins. That's the part that you solder in, and that's what, when you press down the keycap presses the switch plate, and that's what sends the signal to the PCB registering the keycap press. The problem is Green Alps are one of the earlier Alps switches, and what I'm experiencing with Green Alps is a high failure rate of these switch plates. So like I did my personal Green Alps build was just 60%. I probably had, the switches we installed, I probably had like 20 or 30 dead switch plates on those. So I'm experiencing a very, very high failure rate of these switch plates. So it's really, so like Green Alps, like it's just kind of, they've kind of become a pain in the ass. I've restored and worked with probably thousands of Alps switches at this point. Green Alps have become really frustrating. Now, once you get a batch of them that work, it's fine. But I'm just experiencing a high failure rate, higher than normal than the other switches I have. So Green Alps, I'm probably going to start charging a little bit more, just because they're kind of a pain in the ass. But I also have, like what you said, like Brown Alps. Like Brown Alps are probably the most tactile switch I ever have. I only have about 60 of. I have 58 of these, so I'm planning on doing a full size with these. So I need to get one more IBM 5140 to harvest. Those things are like $300. Like these are about $4 to $5 a switch. So they're really tactile. It's like unlike any other tactile you've ever used. These things are just so freaking expensive. And I haven't done a client commission yet, because I'm just telling you, like, if I had someone who wanted a TKL Brown Alps, I'm gonna, like, realistically, we're probably have to charge like probably $500 for a set of switches. It's freaking crazy. Like, these are really expensive. I've had one client who did 3 builds with me. Really cool dude. I told my price, and he chose 3 very high-end builds, but even he didn't even choose Brown Alps. He opted for his tactile. I did a linear, clicky, and tactile build. He opted for Orange Alps, believe it or not. Even though he had them, he could have easily paid me to do Brown Alps. So, yeah, we have a metric crap. I have, like, most of the major Alps switch types. I think the only switch types I'm missing from my collection that I care to get are going to be Pine Black Alps and then linear Brown Alps. Those are kind of on the a little more, I'm working on tracking those down, because my kind of goal is to have a build of everyone. The 2 Alps switches I have no interest in getting, just because they're prohibitively expensive, are Neon Green Alps. Those are about $20 to $30 a switch. So if you want to do like a full size with Neon Green Alps, you are looking at $2,000 to $3,000 a switch. I have absolutely no desire to do that. Now, I have some builds that are in the 4 figures all in. Like my F18X is probably over $1,000 with Blue Alps. Like that thing's expensive, but that's the entire build all in. But like $2 to $3 grand for just switches, not even the case, not even all the parts, is absolutely insane to me. And also linear Amber Alps. Those are even more expensive. Like I think I was talking with Careless, and there was one that sold a few months ago that was like $8,000. It was the original like vintage board that had those switches. So they're very those 2 switches, they're just so prohibitively expensive. I have no desire to get them. That's kind of wasteful at least in my opinion. So I think so. Like the switches I have are more than sufficient. I pretty much have like I will have 90% of the original production run of Alps switches, both in boards and just kind of on hand in my switch library. So then that's what's cool about Keep Life. When I go, I'm going to have 12 builds with 12 different types of Alps switches. So people can pretty much try almost the entirety of the Alps lineup when you go to Keep Life. Yes, I have a set of SKCM creams. So where are the SKCM creams? So I have both creams. So the build I'm going to be building tomorrow on Twitch, it's going to be with the linear creams, and I also have the tactile creams. So I have both tactile cream Alps. These are going to be going in a GSKT00. I'm waiting on the PCB to come. I have the plate, I have the keycaps. I don't want to spoil what keycaps I'm using and what color the board's going to look like, but it's going to be a super sick build. We're going to have that at Key Life, but it's probably not going to build it till like Wednesday or Thursday. So, because that PCB is coming from Canada. But we're going to be using the cream linear Alps tomorrow, which is going to be super sick. So, like, I have a metric shitload of Alps. I also have like the dampened tactiles, ivories. So yeah, I have pretty much every major I mean, aside from Pine Blacks and linear browns, I have pretty much all the all the major Alps types. which is super sick. So that's really, really nice, being able to look at those. So it's really, really good just being able to interact with those switches. But another thing I tell people too, like I got into Alps like earlier this year. I'm relatively new, and I was talking with Careless, and Careless told me like, you've kind of become an overnight expert on Alps. I'm like, I try. There's probably people who still know way more crap than me. But I'm never going to claim to be a professional. Like, I only also, like, recently got into, like, the social media and, like, the streaming thing. Like, I've been in the hobby for a couple of years. I got in late 2023. But I only really started posting, like, content, like, properly in, like, May. Like, I'm not doing, like, and again, with, like, Twitch and uploading, like, VODs on YouTube, like, I'm not, I have Vector keycaps. I'm thinking about getting those. I just haven't found one for a good price. And when the ones have come up for sale, I'm not in a position to get them. I'm tied up in other projects. So I eventually do want Alps Vector keycaps because I have this board right here. This is my Hex 3CV2. It's red and it's awesome. This has my white Alps in it. I want to put Vector keycaps on this. I have FK 2001 keycaps on this right now. Elquan, you're calling me an Alps whale? No, I'm just a guy who really likes it. Like, I don't know. Like, I have a pretty big... I mean, if you look at my Instagram page, pretty much the entirety of my personal collection is on there. I have a really cool collection. I mean, I have crap from like TGR. I have Singa stuff. I got TGR stuff. I got Geon stuff. I got MM Studio. Like, I got a bunch of like crazy stuff. I have Geon Works stuff. Like, and all of this Alp stuff. Like, I just like, when I got into the hobby, I never started with the budget stuff. My first keyboard was a KBD Fans 8X Mark III. And when I tell people that, they think, what the heck? That's an expensive board. That's like endgame for a lot of people. And I'm like, that was my first board. So I always started off with the nice stuff. And I just kind of went from there. Like in the hobby, I'm way more interested in the high-end boutique stuff. Like I built a few boards that are like super, super high-end. Like I'll show you one right here I built on stream. Like I built this one. This is the Linworks Dolphin Max. Like this was a $600+ keyboard, very small run, full size. This board is awesome. It was also a very small run because there's very few people who want to pay north of $600 for a full size keyboard. Very small market, very small number of people, but there is a market. And when I tell people, when you get into the high end stuff of this hobby, it's a much smaller target audience. I mean, it's not many people have the money to spend like $400+ on a keyboard. So that's just something to kind of think about. Like, and again, I tell people, the more expensive boutique bespoke stuff is not for everybody. I really think like, and there's a reason most of those boards are small runs and made by small creators. I think the stuff that's sub $300 has gotten amazing. Like the people who are my go-to recommendation for keyboards now in the hobby are like QWERTY keys. Like the people at QWERTY keys are like killing it. Like with their Neo line, their main line. Also, they own Owl Labs, like one of the OG like high-end keyboard makers. Like they're doing really, really great stuff. The people at KBD Fans are doing some really, really awesome things. Like boards like the Agar, or like the Agar is like $100 and it's amazing. Or like the Test 65 from Divinity. So like the more affordable entry level stuff has gotten really, really good. Like it's not garbage anymore. Like that's the thing that's really, really nice. And I tell people like, at the end of the day, like this mechanical keyboard hobby, this isn't like keeping up with the Joneses. Like if you're a person who can only afford like an $80 to $100 board, cool. Like make it your own, like customize it, like buy the board and over time upgrade your switches, upgrade your stabilizer. When you get some more money, find some keycaps that express who you are. It's your keyboard. It's on your desk. You're going to use it for work. You're going to use it for fun. Use it for gaming. Like it is your tool. Like who cares if it's a budget board? Like I tell people like, I've gone to some meets and I've found some really affordable boards that are awesome, and people love them. It is a tool. At the end of the day, it is your keyboard, and if you're proud of it and you love using it and you love how it sounds and feels, that's what matters. So like that's the thing I always tell people. Like even like the budget stuff is really cool, and I always tell people like when like r/mechanical keyboards. I love commenting on posts. When people post like their very first board, it's awesome. I love seeing the first time people who post their very first mechanical keyboard and they're so excited, they're so happy. Like the people who get like a Keychron or like a Neo board or like a Test 65 or like a KBD Fans board. I love seeing those posts. I love seeing their enthusiasm to finally join the world of mechanical keyboards and just join the fun of it. And I love supporting those people because like, again, we want to bring people into the hobby because we've had a lot of people who kind of have exited the hobby since we've been like post-pandemic these past couple of years. So I think it's really nice to be able to like bring new people in and encourage those people and not be gatekeepers and support those new and more novice people coming into the hobby. Like it's really cool. And I've done builds for like friends and family, which have been, again, those people are like my friends and family builds I've done aren't, they're not like, I did a really cool keyboard for like my mother. I got her a Keychron and it's awesome. And it sits on her desk and it's perfect for her workflow. And she loves using it in her home office setup. So like there's literally something for everybody. So like for me personally, I'm interested in the more like expensive high end stuff because I just think the design and the designers in that space are really cool. People like Elaine at Singa, like Geon, or like TGR, or like Perryworks, to name a few, like are awesome, or like Linworks, like really cool. Like I have some designers that I really like. Like there's certain designers I want their boards. I would love to have like a Marisi Works board, for example, or like there's a couple other designers like I've been following, like Flybex. I'd love to have a Flybex board at one point. There's a ton of just really interesting creators. I would love to have one of their boards for my collection, and that's kind of nice. Like I have a relatively big collection of boards, and I have boards that I like. Some people only ever see pictures of. Like again, like I have a Kohaku. Like my Kohaku is awesome. And like my stance on like Kohakus and like just like Singa boards, I own two Singa boards. I own a Kohaku and like a Neko. It's my stance on like Singa boards. Elaine, awesome. I love Elaine. I've had some awesome conversations with her. She actually helped me get my Kohaku, which is really nice, off of Mech Market. She helped me like verify that it was like legit and authentic and whatnot. So she came in clutch. But like with Elaine's boards, like they're very sought after boards. Like now Singa boards are great and they're awesome. Are they like, is a Kohaku worth $1,000+ Absolutely not. Like a Kohaku's cool at MSRP. Like a Kohaku is a $600 board and it's cool for like $600. It's not cool for $1,200. Like same thing with a unicorn. Like I would love a unicorn. Do I want to pay $2,000 for a unicorn? That's a tray mount 60%. No, absolutely not. So and like same thing with like TGR. Like would I love a Jane? Hell yeah. But like I also am not paying like $2,000 to $3,000 for an original Jane. Like that's crazy. I do own a TGR 910. So like the 910, and I also own like a TGR Tomo. Those are two great boards. Like if you want a TGR board, like just to have like a TGR board in your collection, get a Tomo. You can get a Tomo for like $250 on Mech Market. And sometimes they come in stock on Makiba, which is really nice. And I also have like a 910. You can find the 910s pretty reasonably, which is really nice. It's just kind of like the Janes that are just kind of crazy. That just kind of makes sense. The Janes were just such limited runs. I mean, you also have the Jane V2 MEs, which are pretty cool, which you can still find for like MSRP of like $600 to $700. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool boards. Like I have a lot of really cool like high-end stuff. And I also like Matrix Labs too. Like Matrix Labs is like one of those like design studios I really love. Like I have their NOS on the way on Group Buy, which I should come by the end of the year. I also have like my Matrix Labs Navi. I have a Matrix Labs Vita, and I also have the Matrix Labs like 100 NG, like all insanely expensive boards. Like my 100 NG, I don't even want to think. I paid MSRP for that board. I got really lucky how I got mine, but like I don't even want to think about what that board would cost in the aftermarket. It's just it's crazy. Like people are asking over $1,000 for like the TKL version of that board, and I have the full size version of the 100 NG. There's only like 70 of them in existence. So that's a super limited run board. So like I've taken that out to meets and people like say, how the heck did you get that thing? I'm like, I got lucky. So I know a guy. I literally know a guy who hooked me up. So it's pretty cool. So really cool, just kind of going through some stuff. So, and I've also met some really cool people within the hobby, and I'm really excited to hang out with those people and talk story and talk shop at Keeb Life. So if you are going to Keeb Life, definitely let me know. And I also see like Dreamer Pro put like the KVD 67 light, another really cool board. That's another great board. I've actually built one of those for a friend. So that's actually another board I built for a friend. I built it with like Star Wars keycaps from like Novel Keys, and the person loved it. So really good stuff. I have KBD fan stuff. Like I started with KBD fans. Like my KBD 8X Mark III is like a board I will never sell. Like again, it's a very common board, but it was my first keyboard, and I got it custom Cerakoted. It has a limited edition solder PCB from KBD fans. Like that is mine is a one of one, and I love it. That's like one of my like sentimental boards. I have some other KBD fan stuff. Like I have the Boop Redux. I got an Agar Mini on Group Buy from KBD fans recently. I've had a lot of KBD fans boards since I got in the hobby. I've offloaded most of them because I just like I got into cooler stuff. So like the KBD fans stuff, I downsized my KBD fans collection just to the really core KBD fan stuff that I really like. So and I'm really selective on when I see, like, I love KBD fans. I know some people like Black Simon are very critical of them. I think KBD fans make some really great boards for a very affordable price. And they work with some really cool designers. And it's nice too that there's like regional vendors, because like KBD fans, if you're ordering direct from China, depending on where you live in the world, you may deal with like import duties or tariffs or things like that. I mean, us Americans are getting used to the idea of tariffs and import duties on stuff. But I know folks in like Europe or other parts of the world have dealt with like just the idea of imports and duties. So I know that's just kind of an adjustment for us Americans, good old America. But I think just overall for the money, you can't beat KBD fans. And also as someone who lives here in the States, like Divinity is a KBD fans North American vendor. So if KBD fans has something I want, I usually try to check if Divinity has it. And if Divinity has it, I ordered it from them, because also they're local to me here in Los Angeles, so which is really cool. So that's something that's just kind of really nice. So we're going to start installing these wires. So we're going to get these puppies clipped in. All right, using these good old cherry clip-ins. Perfect. So we're just getting these wires lubed in. And also lube here, we're using dielectric grease for these wires. So a really cool thing. So these are really nice, and these are cherry clip-in stabilizers, and their cherry clip-ins are awesome. They're OG. They're pretty cool, and they're very affordable. You can get the set for like $10, so it's really awesome. So very, very reasonably priced stabilizers. So that's very nice. So we're just getting those wires lubed up. Let's get that. Now it's a little perfect. So we're getting these lubed in. So really good, everybody. So we're getting those in there, but yeah, so it's really cool. So like I've had a really interesting journey in the hobby, and I'm looking forward to where it goes. Like I love it, and again, getting a little more of a voice in the hobby. And it's funny too, like it's like with the Alps commissions, like I'm pretty active on like Reddit and Discord and things like that, like a lot of the big keyboard groups. And it's funny when I see people like comment, some people sometimes comment on posts and said, hey, I've seen your post on other parts of the internet, the interwebs. I'm like, cool, thank you, sir. I'm like, I'm just a guy at the end of the day. I'm just a guy who messes around in his man cave with keyboard stuff and electronics. So I'm just a guy. I'm never going to claim I'm anything more than that. If you want a professional, go like watch like Andy Wynn or like Keyboard or like Frank. I am not a professional, or like Captain Sterling or Alex Otis. I'm just a guy. So I'm just a guy having fun. So, and like I said, with the social media stuff and the YouTube and like Twitch stuff, I'm not doing this to become affiliate or to get monetized on those platforms. I'm just doing it for fun. I know I've had some people reach out to me saying like their VODs have kind of helped them learn about Alps and inspire them to try Alps themselves and do the build themselves, which is awesome. That's why I post my VODs and why I do the live streams primarily. Like, I'm just doing it to share the information with the community. Like, Alps are really cool, and I think everyone should have an Alps build in their collection and experience. But the thing with Alps, it's just a lot of work. Alps are very much a labor of love, especially with like getting access to like original pattern switches. Like the cheapest and best option is to buy an old vintage keyboard and harvest the switches yourself. That's going to be your cheapest and best option to do so, because like if you try to buy switches that have been harvested from people on the internet, like on Mech Market, you're going to pay a premium. So that's why I think it's just the best. If you're going to do an Alps build yourself, all DIY, like you're just going to want to like harvest the switches from an original board. My rule of thumb with vintage boards is try to find boards on like eBay or like Facebook Marketplace that are like clapped in like or dead, because part of me does feel guilty killing vintage boards. I've actually did my first Alps restoration recently, and I have another board on the way. I'm hoping I have it. It's here one time for Keyb Life. I found a cool old Apple keyboard that was in perfect, really good, clean condition. The description said it was basically just stored in a box for a very long time. So I'm really high hopes that board should be in good, clean operating condition. Oops, didn't put that stabilizer in correctly. Give me a second. So give me a second. So that's just kind of how we do it. So perfect. Awesome. We got our stabs done. So let's just put the lube away. I want to wipe my hands off really quick. So really nice doing Cherry MX stabilizers. Again, that's really nice. Again, I had another client commission build we're probably going to build probably later in the week. That's also going to be a DCS build, which is nice. So let me just get my hands wiped off, get those good. So I got a lot of really cool builds coming up, a lot of really cool things, and I got some Topiary builds coming up too. Another group buy I joined, I actually sold a couple of Topiary bars I really just wasn't using and really didn't have a desire to build. I got a Han Pro 2K, so it's a metal version of the HHKB Pro 2, which was really cool. So it was, I really didn't want to like spend more money, so and I wanted to sell. I sold a couple boards this week, and they sold like instantly as soon as I posted them, which was really nice. I mean, I did post them for really great prices, so that was probably part of it. But all right, friends, let's put these in. I'm gonna do my space bar. All right. All right, let's clip these puppies in. Got my clip-ins. All right, cool. Let's get our backspace in. Awesome. And we'll get this one in. Perfect. And then get this one in and that one in. And then we'll do our last one. So a lot of good things, everybody. There we go. We got our cherry clip-ins. Let's just do a little bit of wiping down. So just want to get those just nice and clean. Any excess lube we just want to wipe off. So perfect. Cool. Awesome. Get my hands wiped off. Just make sure that lube looks good. I'm just going to put a little bit of lube in here. Cool. I want to wipe that lubricant around. So good times, everybody. Good times for everyone joining in. It's a fun time. So I just want to get that lube kind of spread out and around in there, just so we can get our wires nice. There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty thorough on like just my methodology for lubing stabilizers. So I just want to make sure we don't have any rattling and we have nice sound, really nice stabilizers. Perfect. All right. I think we're good there. So there is our PCB. So we are good, friends. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Awesome. All right, let's throw my little anti-stack bag to the side. Let's put the PCB to the side, and we are going to unscrew our frog case. So all right, let's get this puppy going. Awesome. Got, oh, come on, clicker. Let's get that. Come on. Come on, Geon, feet, get in there. My hands are all funky. Yeah, what the heck? All right, why can't I, like, pick up some feet? Lord. There we go. I'm like, bro, how many idiots does it take to unscrew some stabilizers? Put these to the side right there. Sorry about that. Let's get my screwdrivers out, and let's see what we got. All right. Let's put these to the side. Let's pull these out. All right. Cool. Just getting the case unscrewed, and then we want to get the, oh, there we go. Want to get the plate out. All right. And then this one. All right. Let's drop that screw. There we go. All right, let's take off the bottom case, and then we'll pull out our plate. There we go. So let's get these tadpoles out. So Cerakote's, it's interesting. So I don't know which Cerakote shop did this. This is a board. It's funny. This particular board I'd actually seen on Mech Market before. It had been on Mech Market for a while, but I already had my own. I already had my 2 personal frogs. So the Cerakote's okay. I mean, I'll tell the client. There are some chips on the Cerakote, which I'm not the big. I've noticed. So like the Cerakote, I think is fine. I don't know what shop did it. It's okay, but there are some places where the Cerakote has come off. It probably just got chipped by the previous owner. There's some chips right there. There are some chips in the coating. I'm going to do my best to kind of wipe everything off once before we get final reassembly. But there are some definite chips in the Cerakote. You really have to look at it to kind of notice them. But the client also did express interest in eventually getting this recoated. So yeah, there are some chips. Like there's some chipping right here. There's one right here on the top of the case that you can see. So yeah, so the client I think will get this recoated eventually, but for right now, this is just I mean, this client got a really good deal on this. Like basically, like, cause Cerakote's expensive. Like I have several boards that I've done Cerakote on. Like Cerakote can be like anywhere on the cheap end from like $150, like $300 for a keyboard, depending on what shop you go with. So it's expensive. So like they got this board for like sub $200. So they basically got the Cerakote or the board for free. So this was I told the client, you're stupid not to buy that board. So there we go. So here's our plate. So just kind of show off the plate. This is a plate that's really good. So this one specifically will use cherry neck stabilizers, which is really nice. So this board comes over from Careless. You can see Careless's logo right there, which is really nice. Yeah, Cerakote is like, it kind of stinks. I mean, for this one. So the Cerakote's okay. But yeah, definitely want to see if we can get it. That would probably want to get it recoated eventually. So we're putting on our Cherry MX stabilizers. So those look pretty good. So we're just filling them in right there. So looking good. Just making sure everything looks good in terms of spacing. Stabilizers look awesome. So cool. So we're gonna start doing some switches. So we have a metric crap load of White Alps. So now these White Alps are really good. So, and again, the cool thing about the Cerakote, if you want to get it re-Cerakoted, which is really nice, is this is a drop-in assembly. So you literally just take this assembly out and then you can just drop the case off at like a Cerakote shop. So that's the one thing that's really nice. So we're going win keyless. So I usually start off with my stabilized keycaps first. So let me put those in. But these are really good switches. And you're my first client build to do these switches. They have a really, really nice sound. And again, clicky Alps are probably some of the best Alps. Again, I've done like the 3. I have builds with all 3 clicky Alps that were produced during Alps' production run, which is really nice. Also, Welvin, do you want you still want standard caps lock, not stepped? So that's my question. I mean, you can respond later, but like, definitely, just let me know if you still want standard or stepped caps lock. That's really the only other the keycap option we have on this puppy, which is really cool. So I'm just making sure all the corners are looking good. So we'll do kind of our 4 corners as well. Just kind of hold everything in place, and then we should be pretty good. So yeah, that should be pretty good, holding everything in. Okay, yeah, so we're going to start, I'm going to fire up the soldering iron, and then, yeah, pretty good. So yeah, Cerakote, yeah, definitely want to get, I would definitely recommend getting this thing re-Cerakoted. Like again, if like, yeah, I have my Cerakote guy I could send you to. I've sent other folks in the keyboard hobby to him, and his prices are really good. Like, I'm going to be at his shop on Monday, picking up a client commission that was being Cerakoted. So that's going to be a super sick build. I can't wait to build that on stream and show everyone. That's going to be a super badass build. So yeah, I'm just checking every alignment for everything. Everything looks good. All right, just making sure everything looks solid. Cool, looking good, looking good. All right, I'm gonna get my solder wick out. Let me put my screws to the side, put all my other little tools to the side, and then we're gonna get going. So definitely want to do it. So probably do caps lock last, just so we can make sure. I gotta look through our text again just to figure out. I always forget, so it's all good, everybody. So I'll have those. Those are all the switches we're using. So really nice switches. We'll do some tests on them in a second. There we go. So you hear that little vent? That's just going to suck up any of the fumes. So got to talk a little bit louder so we can get this one going. Okay, everything is lined up. Perfect. Let's do the corners. Cool. Awesome. Just want to make sure we're soldering them, everybody. Just making sure those are held in nice. So cool. Awesome. Those are good. Let's get those 2 solder points in, and we'll get them going. Those 2 points are good. Let's do this one. Yeah, what the heck? Give me a second. There we go. Getting those in. Alright, fantastic. We got those switches in. Cool. Let's get our space bar soldered in. We've been on here for about an hour, friends, so that's pretty good. Let's get the space bar solid in there. Cool. Hey, man, thanks, man. Hey, IndieHM, thanks, my man. I don't know, that's like, Gordon Freeman's like my all-time like favorite video game character, so like, he's a big Half-Life fan. I've played all the games, every expansion. Half-Life Alyx was awesome. I mean, how Half-Life Alyx kind of leaves us off, like I really hope we get to see like a proper resolution to Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Because the way that ends, I'm like, oh my god, I was like, my mind was like blown. I finished Alyx. Yeah, so the VR thing, I had to borrow a buddy's VR headset to properly play it because I'm not paying for a VR headset. So I asked him if I could borrow it for a couple weeks, and that allowed me to play through the game. It's worth it. I mean, if you can't do VR, just watch a Let's Play. Like, the story and how it expands on the world and, like, completely recontextualizes the ending of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 is amazing. Definitely worth your time. And it was just kind of cool to return to the world of Half-Life after so freaking long. After we had been begging Valve forever. And I was just absolutely blown away because I'm like, oh, the story's they're not gonna like give us a Half-Life 3. It's a prequel, and then you just see how that story ends. And I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. So it's awesome. So yeah, definitely a big Half-Life fan. And I always tell people play Half-Life. It's awesome. Like one of those OG like games that like kind of what made first-person shooters what they are today. Like I always tell people, like it's such a historically significant game. So. Perfect. And I mean also too, if like someone doesn't want to like the old graphics of Half-Life, you just Black Mesa, which is amazing. So yeah, definitely gonna check it out. But yeah, friends, it's a good time. So we're here doing an Alps build. For those of you who've been tuning in, thank you. It's a nice, fun time seeing folks on stream and whatnot. But this is gonna be a really cool build, and I'm really excited to get this to the client. So we're building it, and my client who's on here probably ship it out Tuesday to you. So, so you should have it probably by the end of the week, and you can start using it and enjoying it, which will be awesome. So, I'll definitely be in contact for details and how we can get it to you and whatnot. So, cool. Just making sure all that is good. Awesome. Let's get our last. We have 2 more keys you want to solder on here, and then we'll be good. Wait a second. There we go. Okay, I'll kind of explain the difference. So, Alps are really interesting. So, Alps are kind of their own thing. So, Alps, they started producing them in the 1970s, and then they were pretty much produced by Alps Electric until the early 2000s. They were just kind of their own thing. They were, in the 80s and 90s, they were a direct competitor, and at certain points in the 80s and 90s, they were bigger than Cherry. They were really a direct connection. And again, Cherry had their big contracts with like IBM and some of the other companies and had producing some amazing boards. But Alps really had some big contracts. Like there were IBM boards, Hewlett Packard. You had Apple and a ton of other companies like building their keyboards with Alps switches. Like some of the best old like Apple keyboards Apple has ever produced were made with Alps keycaps. The one thing with Alps, the tactility on Alps is unlike anything on the Cherry MX side. They have a very unique, distinct feel that I can't, like it puts any tactile on Cherry MX to shame. And then clickies, probably the best clicky switches next to like Beam Springs and like IBM Model M's and like Model F's. So like they're like some of the best clickies other than like buckling springs or beam springs in the old IBM keyboards. Like really amazing clicky switches. And they're just fantastic switches. The thing with Alps that's just kind of there's a high learning curve. If you wanna, you kind of have a couple of options for like Alps in like the modern world. You have to get them from original keyboards. So you have to either be okay with killing a keyboard, an original vintage keyboard, or give me a second. I'm just putting in those key switches, making sure those are good. Yeah, we're good. We're good there. Just making sure everything is properly seated on this. Alps, sorry. Give me a second. So, like, Alps are really cool. I'm going to put this to the side for right now. So, they're a really cool switch, but they just have a really distinct feel. And also with Alps, if you can see it by their stem, their little rectangle, they take their own pattern keycaps. They can't take Cherry MX keycaps. They take their own stabilizer platform. They also take their own plate and also their own PCBs. If you look at the holes in the PCB right here, you can see the holes are very different. Like the holes where the pins stick through, very different footprint versus Cherry MX. And then if you look at the holes on the plate, they're also very different from Cherry MX. Cherry MX are usually like a perfect square. You can see these are a little more rectangular in shape. So that's the interesting thing. Now there are some solder PCBs that support both Alps and Cherry MX switches. So they have holes cutouts on the PCB for both the Alps switches and the Cherry MX switches, which is really kind of cool. But those are kind of few and far between. So that's just something so it's a really kind of a high learning curve, and Alps are a labor of love. When you find original Alps and like an original keyboard, I'll show you one of like my original Alps boards just while we're on here. Like this is my Apple standard keyboard M0116. This was from the about 1986, 1987. This keyboard was produced, and this has orange Alps. So I fully restored this, and it works now. So I can use this with a modern keyboard. So it has a pretty low serial number. It's in the 600,000, which is really nice. So very early the production run of this board. But again, like these were really, really well-made keyboards, and this is one of the best keyboards Apple ever made. So yeah, the shape of it's really nice too. So like it has a very interesting side profile. I have another one. I have its bigger brother, the Apple Extended keyboard, coming that I'm going to do a full restoration on. So I'd love to show y'all on stream and just social media what that looks like. So these are really, really great boards. So it's a really different thing. Like Apple, there's a lot of weird quirks on these Apple keyboards. Like caps lock is right down here. Like look how tiny that space bar is. Look at the arrow cluster. Like right and left are right here, up and down are right here. It's a very weird layout. I mean, your alphas and your numbers are the same, and also if you look at the numpad, it doesn't have a 2U plus. Apple on their keyboards, if you're a Mac user, they still use the same layout for their numpads. They put an equal sign right here, and they shift everything down. So that's why they make the plus 1U, which is really kind of cool. So it's a really quirky, but like the Apple Extended keyboard has a more traditional, like full-size layout. When I get that board in, I'll kind of show y'all. And also, I've done like Alps builds with Macintosh keycaps. Like the client build I did yesterday has Macintosh keycaps. I'll show you my personal build. Give me a second. So let me close my drawers before I break something. So like this is if you want to do an modern Alps build with like Macintosh keycaps, you're going to have to do a 60%. There's just weirdness with how the keycaps are designed, but they look really freaking awesome. Like, I love these keycaps. Like, the Apple keycaps are made of high quality dye sublime PBT, so they were very, very high quality. Space bars are made of ABS, so that's why the space bar is yellow. They made the space bars out of ABS because the injection molding technology of the time couldn't make large pieces out of ABS. So that's why they had to make out of PBT. So they had to use ABS, which is really cool. But this is a really cool keyboard. This has green linear Alps. So really cool board. This is one of my personal builds. This will be at Key Life, but I've done a few client builds using the Macintosh keycaps and the 60% form factor. So when I do a client commission, I source all the parts unless the client has something very specific they want to use. Usually the builds I've done where clients send me stuff would be like the keyboards, like a specific keyboard case, or like the switches. So like in this case for this client, they sent me the Frog TKL. They had that mailed to me, and they also had the keycaps mailed to me. I sourced the switches. I did the full restoration on these. So I harvested these, I tore them down, I fully restored them and cleaned them up. And got them ready for reassembly. So when I'm done with restoration, these switches are basically brand new, which is really nice. So I have a very thorough restoration process, and I've gotten really good at restoring Alps keycaps. In DHM, like, definitely come say hi. Again, I'll have some like little banners around my table that'll say like we'll like have like Finley Design Works or Sergeant Finley 96, so people know that like, hey, I'm the Alps guy. Just like literally at Key Life, look for the table that has all the Alps keyboards. Like, I'll be at the table that has no Cherry MX boards, so definitely come say hi. You're gonna be, and also my builds, I will let people type on them. I'll let people pick up the boards. Like, you can hold them around, you can look at them, you'll be able to feel the switches, like try them all out. So that's I really want people to be hands-on with Alps, and I'm also going to bring like all of my Alps switch containers are going to be there too. So if people want to hold some Alps and kind of get a feel for what they are, I'll have all my Alps switches on display as well, including the switches that aren't currently in builds. So that'll be really nice for people to really kind of see. So yeah, definitely if you're at Key Life. So we're going to do the testing phase now. So one thing about these switches, I have to test these switches. Because one of the things, these switches are 30 to 40 years old. The part that most of the switches, the parts are really well made, but the part I noticed that has issues that can die is the switch plate. So the pins that stick out of the bottom of the switch that we soldered to the PCB, sometimes that switch plate, like this, when you press down the key, it's making contact with that switch plate, sending the signal to the PCB that I've registered a key press. In some cases, the parts in these switch plates corrode, basically making the switch not work. So what I do when I build these boards, I kind of put the switches on and solder them on in phases, and I thoroughly test the switches in a switch tester to make sure that all the switches are working correctly. So we're probably gonna have some dead switches, and we'll just desolder those and then put new switches in. I have a metric crapload of these switches, so we have more than enough to do what we need to do for the client. But that's just one of my methodologies when I build client builds. I am very thorough. Again, these clients are paying me their hard-earned money to build these keyboards for them, and I'm going to make sure it is 100% perfect for the client. Because when I give it to them, I just want them to be able to open the box up, put it on their desk, plug it in, and just get typing away and enjoy the keyboard. I don't want them to think about anything else. So I really want to make sure that these keyboards are absolutely perfect for the clients. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Definitely. Again, you can reach out to me on Discord. Like, again, all of my all my social medias are like right there in the corner. So you can reach out to me on like YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, like Discord, Instagram, or Reddit will probably be the best places to get me. Like Twitch and YouTube, like, don't try and DM me there. It's kind of hard. It's like the best contact. Again, just check my profiles out on Insta, like Reddit or Discord, whatever is easiest for you. And definitely we can charge price. I was telling it earlier on stream. What I charge, I try to be reasonable. I know people sometimes they don't have, like, people are on tight budgets. I essentially just charge the cost of parts plus a $100 fee on top of those parts. So whatever the cost, and what'll really kind of vary what the final cost will be, what switches you use, and what keyboard you're going to use. If you want to do a commission modern Alps build, my recommendation, I do a TKL or a 60%. Or there are a handful of custom full sizes we can do, but just behind you, when you do a full size, you're dealing with over 100 switches, and some of those full sizes that support Alps, like a Fossil, are very expensive. So my recommendation, TKL, my number one recommendation is a Frog. For 60%, I have a list of 60% I'd recommend. Any tray mount 60, like a Bakaneko or Tofu or like a Frog Mini Lagera is fantastic. But that's really what I recommend. 60% or TKLs are usually my go-tos. And my number one recommendation would be like a Tofu for like a 60% or a Bakaneko or like a Frog TKL. But I've created a list of the modern day keyboards that can easily be converted to Alps, that we have plate files for, that we have PCBs for. So if I can send you the list too, like, so you can maybe get an idea. Maybe you have a board in your collection that we could just give you, like what I've done for clients as well too. Like I have clients who may have like a Frog or like a Bakaneko in their collection. So what I've done, like my client in Singapore, he had a Frog Mini in his collection. So what I built for him is I just built him the PCB and plate assembly, and then I milled him that, which is really nice. So if you have a board in your collection that's on my list of boards that we can convert to Alps, we can keep costs really low and just build the internal assembly, which is that's probably the cheapest way to do it. So we'll just kind of let you know. So, but yeah, let's definitely test these switches. So this PCB is Vile. So I want to go into Vile and just make sure the PCB is programmed correctly. So I want to make sure this is in the H88 mode because we have an F13. So I want to make sure F13 is programmed in here. So let me switch my layout to H88. And we're going 7 use bottom row. Perfect. Everything is programmed correctly. We're popping up good. We have F13. Awesome. And we're going to be Win keyless. So I'm going to deactivate my Windows my sockets on the board for Windows because we are not going to be using those. Those will be blank and we are good to go. So let's go to my matrix tester and I want to test these switches. So that switch is good. Awesome. 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 Spacebar is good. Awesome. Oh, escape doesn't work. All right, we got a dead escape key. All right. So all right, we got to swap out our escape. So yeah, so absolutely. So but any of the info, my man, just again, Indy, just like shoot me a message on like Instagram, Reddit, and I can send you that list of modern day boards that I've compiled. And who knows, to make it a little bit easier. Speaking of the Fossil, a Fossil is one I've always wanted. I'm not going to be joining the group buy. I've always wanted a Fossil. A few months ago, I had a chance to buy an R1 from the Carolina Network guys. I know those guys. They're familiar with me, and I'm good friends with them. I'm not going to be joining the group buy because it's just a little steep for me right now. I just started a new job, and just with like starting the new job and just like the kind of navigating that and getting personal finance under the boat, I can't swing the like $700 that board's going to cost probably after shipping and tax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the board. I'm going to wait for them to have extras or wait for the people who join the group buy to put those units on Mech Market. So I will get a Fossil eventually because the Fossil can be converted to Alps. The Carolina Mech guys, their PCB supports Cherry MX and Alps, which is really cool. And they have the plate files for Alps, which is awesome. So the Fossil is a really cool board to convert to Alps. There's been some really cool builds that people have done with in like Careless's Discord server with Alps, which is really cool on a Fossil. Yeah, so I mean, I have some really cool full sizes. They're just not Alps compatible. I can show you some of the full sizes we've done recently. So like I built this on stream. This is my Linworks Dolphin Max. This Linworks is based out of South Korea. This one is really cool. I love this board. It's just beautiful. Linworks has that. Look at my little mini camera right there. Has that gorgeous kind of side profile. What's up, Keep Helper? What's up, brother? So I have those. Let me show you some of the other ones that are just kind of crazy I got. So like I said, my collection's kind of crazy. I can show you some of these other boards that we've done. So, I mean, I have a couple other full sizes on the way, folks. I'm sorry, I'm coming back. I'll show you these two full sizes I got. So, the full size, I have the Seal and I have the S100 from Vertex coming. The Seal is in transit. It's on the boat right now. I have tracking for it. And then the S100 I ordered from Bull, and Bull said probably within the next like 2 or 3 weeks, you should start shipping them out. This is probably my rarest of my full sizes. This is the Matrix Labs 100NG edition. Let me plug this little puppy in because this thing's absolutely insane. Like this thing is just insane. Like it's a Matrix Labs board. Like this thing is wild. They only made 70 of these, and they were kind of a pain in the ass to get a hold of. I got really lucky in how I got mine. I don't want to say how I got mine, but I got really lucky getting this one. I paid MSRP for this board. A couple of these have sold on Mech Market, and these things go for absurdly stupid freaking money. So yeah, 100 mg, awesome. And then I also got this full size recently from Darian over at DN Works. This is the DN Works 925, another kind of small run board. This and the previous board are both north of $600. The Works Dolphin Max was also like about $600-ish. So that's why I like and the Seal is about 400. I know the S100 is like 220, 225. So I think those are really good boards. The Seal also another really good board, full size board that can be converted to Alps. So the Vertex guys, if you go into their Discord, they made an Alps plate file. They didn't manufacture it because how many people really want to convert their Seal to Alps? So if you have a Seal and you would like to maybe have like an internal assembly like with a Cherry MX and Alps, the Seal, you can get the plate file from the Vertex guys, and then you can have that plate made, which is really cool. So the Seal solder PCB supports both Cherry MX and Alps, which is really nice. So that's really, really cool. So like, again, the Seal is like another one of those full sizes. It's like basically your two options for like modern full sizes for Alps would be like a Fossil R1 or R2, which is the R2 is coming out, or the Vertex Seal, which is really cool. So I need to desolder this escape key. So that key was bad. So yeah, we're going to be on here for a little bit while. I like having fun with people on stream, folks. So definitely let's get it going. So let me get my the solder gun out. Let me move all these boards out of the way. As we kind of move along. Give me a second, folks. Put these boards out of the way so I don't damage anything, because I have very expensive rectangles and I don't want to damage them. So yeah, so really cool boards. Again, I have a really cool collection. If you want to see more of my collection, I think the entirety of my collection I have photographed on my Instagram page. So like Finley Design Works on Instagram. Like check it out. Like that's, I mean, that if you want to just see like what I have on hand and also like all the client commissions I've done, they're all on there. So I have some pretty crazy stuff. Like, I mean, I have some boards like most people would consider like even some singular boards I have in my collection to be their end game. So my collection's pretty crazy. And please don't ask how expensive it is. You can do the math if you want, but I don't want to think about how much I have in my collection. Oh, that's why it didn't work. I didn't solder it in. Oops. Well, there's your problem. I didn't solder this escape key in. That's why it wasn't working. Oops. All right, I'm going to put the solder gun away because I don't need it right now. So, yeah, Indy, I like that you're lurking on my page. It's all good. So, I definitely just like getting involved with those. And, again, like, being at Keep Life is going to be really cool. So, Welvin Digger, I'm so jealous you're like, chilling in the pool right now. It's, like, 1,000 degrees here in SoCal in Los Angeles. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I know you're, like, also, like, a place that's, like, really hot. So, pretty cool. So, yeah, it's a good time, everybody. So, these are really good switches, really good boards. So we're just getting these in there. So, all right. Let me see these. All right, awesome. Cool. Awesome. So we got those. We got that. Beautiful. Hey, dude, the Valley. The Valley's an interesting place. Yeah, I'm in LA, so like born and raised in SoCal. Like Los Angeles, born and raised. I love it here. So it's fun. It's funny too because I've had clients from other parts of the world reach out to me. Like earlier this week, I had someone from England, someone from Ireland reach out. I've also had a guy in Russia who's interested in doing a build. So my guy in Russia, we were kind of talking details. We'll probably have to kind of figure out how we're going to get it to him because, the whole situation with Russia right now is just kind of crazy, especially being in, like, the United States. So we're going to figure it out. I told the guy we're definitely going to do him a build when he's ready. We'll just kind of figure out how to get it to him, how to handle payment and whatnot. But he's a really cool dude, and we were definitely talking keyboards and other things in life. So let me test this escape. I can't believe I didn't solder it in. That was kind of my blunder. So, which is really cool. So let me get Vile opened up and just test that escape key really quick. So my matrix tester, and we're good. So perfect. So I'm going to test my keycaps really quick. So perfect. So we are good there. There we go. So all right, I'm going to pull out some keycaps and just test that the stabilizers are tuned properly, and then we'll start soldering in the rest of our switches. So let me get these keycaps out. So these are DCS keycaps. So really, really nice keycap set. I really enjoy it. It has support for pretty much every kind of layout you could think of, which is really nice. So I really like this board. Yeah, I mean, I'm over in like Southeast Los Angeles, so I've been in Southeast LA like my entire life, so really good time. I love it in Southeast LA. It's a fun time. So, all right, I'm just gonna make sure these keycaps are good. Give me a minute. DCS space bars are kind of a pain in the ass, so let's just get those in. All right. Just making sure my stabs are good, so. All right, that space bar, that's really good. Let's get our let's get our full right shift here. Oh, clicky, so good. Clicky Alps, so good. So freaking good. Let me find my my left shift. Sorry, my right shift. There we go, left shift. Yeah, the Valley, I mean, to quote Pulp Fiction, motherfucker, we don't have any friends in the Valley. So yeah, the Valley's an interesting place. I got a lot of friends in there. My dad used to live in North Hollywood back in the day when my parents like first met. So, I mean, I love the Valley. Is it my favorite place in Los Angeles? No. But, also, Welvin, I'm going to let you know. So I'm just going to put the standard beige keycaps on here, but the one thing that's nice is this is the 9009, so you will have these like pink and green accents. So again, when the board is done and when I box it up to you, I'll have the leftover keycaps and I'll mail those to you as well. And then when you get the board in hand, you can kind of figure out what you want to do with like the pink and the green accents on the board. I can kind of show you what I did with my 9009, just to kind of give you an idea. So let me just show. So for my client who's here on stream, you can kind of see like you have some options with like the escape. The insert key is pink, and then the enter and escape keys. You can either make them pink or you can make them green. Those are just the color accents of 9009. So that's my personal 9009 set on my Geon F1 8X722. So I'm just gonna make everything beige, and then when you get the board in hand, again, you can figure out what color accents you want to have, or you just want to have it all be beige. Go for it, but that's just what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to do the classic beige, and then you can add the color accents yourself. So that's just kind of cool as we do it. So we're going to do that. So let's just get that enter right there. Perfect. And then we want to find our backspace really quick, just to make sure we are all good. Where the heck are you? Yeah, that's shift. Where are my backspace? Where are you? There we go. Cool. We got our backspace. Let's check that. All right, we have a very sluggish backspace. All right, that backspace is being a little sluggish. There's probably a little too much lube. Hey, Keeper, maybe you need to do an Alps build for you, my man. I can help you. I got you. Got any of those Alps? I'll do it for you, man. Let me know. I also have DCS White on Black. Really cool set. Don't have it in a build yet. I had it in one of my earlier frogs, but I rebuilt it with a different white on black set. Like I can show you my white on black board. So yeah, I mean I just keep pulling Alps builds out of my ass. So I mean I have like a dozen Alps builds. So like this one right here. So this is my personal Geon Works Frog TKL 8K. So this is an 8K TKL. Careless designed a special plate for this particular board so I can do this kind of weird layout. So a really cool board. This is Tie-How white on black, so this isn't the DCS set, but I put a big ass enter. We have a partial numpad. 8K is like an old school like TKL layout. Really doesn't have a use anymore. I just got it because it was neat and I wanted an 8K, but really cool switches. I have Ivory, Alps SKCM Ivory dampened tactiles in here, and they sound fantastic. So a really cool board, love it. So that's my white on black build. So I want to see if that. Just see if we can get this switch to be a little bit better. Okay, that's really weird. Yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. So yeah, that my 8K TKL, I love that thing. So I'm just yeah, we're just loosening this up. Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool... The 8K layout's really cool. It was way more common like the 1980s and 1990s. Sorry, I'm just gonna make... I think we're good. I'm just going to do a little more adjustment and tuning on this stabilizer. just so we can make sure it's nice and good. So we're going to do a little bit more tuning on this one just so we're nice and happy. Okay, give me a second. We're just tuning this, maybe just getting some of that excess lube off, just so we can get it going. But yeah, the 8K TKL, it's really cool. I posted it on like r/mechanical keyboards a couple days ago after last weekend when I built it. People were just kind of saying like, why don't you get an 1800? I said this isn't an 1800. It's its very own thing. And someone told me it's kind of inconvenient. Like, where are your arrow keys? But the one thing I tell you, like, the way the number pad is designed, it's a layer. There are layers on your number pad. So when you press num lock, that activates your numbers. When you press num lock off, I have my full navigation cluster. I have my arrows. I have my home. I have my page up. I have my page down. I have my delete, insert, end. Like, I have all of those functions. It's just using my num block. Instead of pressing my enter here, I do my number and data entry or my arrows, and I have my I can have enter right there. So this is really, really good. So Alps, I'll tell you this, and this is one thing about Alps. Alps have a very distinct sound profile. Like I always tell people with Alps, kind of throw your knowledge of Cherry MX out the window. They have their, like, if you're expecting like a deep, a thocky sound, like, or silent switches, like, don't do Alps. Alps are going to be a very, very loud switch. Regardless if you go, especially if you go like clicky Alps, like this build's clicky, this is going to be a very loud keyboard. This is just a, what is up? So this is going to be a very, very loud keyboard. But I think, so I tell people, realistically, the sound profile you're going to get is like clacky. That's what I really tell people to expect out of an Alps keyboard. Like my OG Alps keyboard, like this is clack. You're going to get this type of clack, old school clack. Like you're getting clack. Like that's what you're going to get it. So I tell people, like, you really have to, if you're going to get the clacky sound profile. Now, there are the two dampened tactile Alps, which were Alps' attempt to make them a little bit quieter. Now, these dampened tactile switches, they are quieter. I will give you that. They're not, but they're still freaking loud. Like, these are dampened tactiles. These are the ivory Alps. And I also have the other dampened tactile. Where the heck is it? Where did I put it? It's out over here somewhere. Here it is. Like, I also have white ivory Alps, right? In this sport, this is my other Frog. This is just my standard TKL. Like, these are probably the quietest Alps. These are white ivory dampened tactiles. These are really good switches. A lot of people kind of, but these are very old school sound. You're not going to get like the really, like Cherry MX, the really great thing in how the hobby has progressed. There are so many sound profiles you can get. Depending on if you put foam, no foam in, your plate materials, you're going to get, there's so many sound profiles you can do to tune your builds. You're not going to get that on the Alps side. Now this, I'm just going to spam this backspace until it's good. It's being a little sluggish. There we go. So that's why I tell people Alps. It's very old school and very classic sound. Now, I do have a client who wanted... so I heard the Gateron lanes. I'm not really buying any new Cherry MX switches. I will be completely honest, probably like 10,000 Cherry MX switches on hand right now. Because I do a lot of commissions. And especially doing like, being able to do like sponsored streams. I have like 60 different types of Cherry MX switches on hand. All types of Cherry MX switches. I would like to have a set of Gateron lanes on hand just to try. I saw Black Simon's stream where they saw the breakdown of how those switches work. So I think Gateron did something really clever to do it. So I definitely want to try the lanes eventually, but it's just going to depend on if I just have so many freaking Cherry MX switches. So that's just the kind of thing. So I think it's really cool. So I think I really applaud what Gateron was doing because I have a truckload of Gateron switches. Like they're probably my favorite Cherry MX designer. I mean, for switches at least. So I'm going to start doing my other switches in here. So we're going to start putting other switches. We got the stabilizers all tuned. So really, this is also just for my client who's on here. Very loud keyboard. So I would not take this to work. Or if your coworkers don't care. I mean, if you want to take this to work and piss your coworkers off, go for it. But this is a very loud. This is going to be a very loud keyboard, and that's the beauty of it. So, Cherry Mech. So yeah, Alps are not quiet. That's another thing I tell people too. With Alps, it's a very loud switch, and that's regardless if you go with a linear Alp, a tactile Alp, or a clicky Alp. Now, if you really want an Alps build that's really quiet, your only option is going to be white ivories. And it's nice because white ivories are a pretty common Alp switch, and you can get those switches relatively affordably from the boards you need to harvest them from. So I've yet to have someone who said, like, I want an Alps build, but I want it as quiet as possible. And another thing too with Alps too, there's really no foam options as well. The only option you really can do is like bottom foam, but I only ever do bottom foam for Alps builds because one thing about Alps, the pins on the bottom are slightly longer than Cherry Mech. So I usually just put certain boards, I'll put a layer of bottom foam, not to tune sound, just to prevent the switches from shorting on the bottom of the case. So that's just something just to kind of be mindful of with Alps. But haven't had any issues with the frogs as of yet. Let me just check my text really quick. Yeah, foamless is pretty much what I run. Even all my Cherry MX builds, I run them foamless. So I want to check something really quick. I got to check the text of my client really quick because I got to figure out if they wanted stepped caps lock or they wanted a standard caps lock, please. Perfect. All right, cool. I forgot what my client wanted, so they want standard caps lock for this buddy. Yeah, so I think it's really cool. I have Gateron Melodics in one of my custom boards, and they're fantastic. So probably one of my favorite types of clickies. I really don't like Cherry MX clicky switches. I've yet to, other than Gateron Melodics, like Cherry MX Blues, like Gale Box J's, they all sound like crap to me. The Gateron Melodics sound really nice, but I hate clicky switches from Cherry MX. They suck. That's just my personal opinion. So, again, take my opinion with a grain of salt, everybody. So... But hey, if you like those switches, all the power to you. I'm going to move my switches to keycaps to the side. Hello, keycaps. All right, we're going to finally get some soldering done. There we go. It's enough of me blabbering and whatnot. So let's get that caps lock soldered in. So let's get these puppies soldered. Would help if I plugged my vent in. There we go. So, yeah, folks, good times. Look at that, everybody. We got them in here. Here we go. Perfect. Let's get that caps lock going. Okay, let's get that. Perfect. So, got that one in. Awesome. All right, we got our caps in, which is nice. Let's get these two in. Perfect. Awesome. Let's get a little bit more on here. Perfect. Awesome. Just making sure all those look good. Perfect. Let's get this in here. Awesome. Got those. Let's do our bottom ones right here. Bottom row. Get that in here. Alright, just want to get those. Perfect. Alright, looking good. We're just soldering in a bunch of the switches. Fantastic. Got our bottom row almost done. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, we're doing really good, folks, so we're getting them in there. Cool. Got that one. We're just going on to our home cluster and our arrow cluster, and then we'll be good to start testing this round of switches. And then we'll kind of go from there and start our F row, and then we'll do our main alpha and numbers cluster. So it's looking good so far. Awesome. All right, cool. Looking good there. Okay, arrows are done. Perfect. All right, we just got our home cluster. And then we should be pretty good to start testing these. So looking good, folks. Look at that. Looking like a keyboard. All right. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Just pull out some more solder wire. There we go. Looking good, everybody. Awesome. Looking good. Almost done with our nav cluster. Cool. Looking good there. Got a couple more at the top. Perfect. There's that one, and one more pin. Cool. All right, let's put a pause on soldering. There we go, friends. Perfect. There we go. So we have a, look at that, starting to look like a keyboard now. Look at that, friends. Cool. Got our, so good. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So good. All right, let's plug her in, and let's make sure we are all good. Yeah, so let's go. Let's open up my little VIA. Perfect. Let's open up VIA. I like the switch tester in VIA because it's pretty comprehensive. So, all right, there we go. All right, let's go to my key tester. All right. All right. Arrows are good. All right. Cool. Home cluster's good. Backspace still good. Slash, enter, right shift, right control, right alt, space, left alt, left control, shift. Caps lock is good. Tab, tilde, and then. All right, we're not having any dead switches so far. That is fantastic. So, all right, friends. So those are looking good so far. So we have some solid switches so far. So that is really, really good. Just making sure everything is looking good. So now what we're going to do is I'm just making sure everything looks good. Awesome. Now, we're going to put in our F row. So this is an F13. with the Frog TKL. So we're going to put these in next. So let's put the F row in. Let's solder that F row in, and then we'll put in the rest of the alphas and numbers and solder all those in, and we'll do testing. And then if that all works, we'll put keycaps on, and we'll put this in the board. And it's going to look super, super beautiful. So this is a really, really awesome board. So far so good. We're not having any dead switches so far. I really, really like that. So all right, so there is our F13 rail. So let's get those soldered in. So looking good so far. Just making sure everything looks good. Cool. All right, let's put these puppies in. All right. Cool. All right, friends, let's get it going. Let's get our F row in. A little bit more on that one. Perfect. So going good there. I don't have a preference. F12, F13, I could care less, man. Like, I really don't ever use F13, so I usually just make it like a media key. But the nice thing about this board, it's fully VIL programmable. So if there's anything on this PCB that you want to reprogram to make it fully customizable to you, that you can do that. So that is the great thing about this PCB. You have that full customization. So you have modern USB-C support, you have full customization. So you can make this PCB work for you and do whatever you need it to do. And that's one thing about some of the vintage boards that's kind of a pain in the ass, is you can't reprogram them, which sucks. I mean, you could if you have more like, yeah. Oh man, I've actually never done co-op Half-Life. That's always a fun time. Like, again, I was playing Black Mesa, I'd say like a week ago, which was pretty fun. So like I love revisiting Half-Life from time to time. Like, I mean, I played all the games multiple times. So yeah, no, it's definitely it is my all-time favorite series. Okay, just making sure all these are in. Alright, cool. I mean, seeing your first-timer friends get kidnapped at barnacles is always fun, but you never know. So I'm just making sure those are in. Cool. Perfect. Yeah. So pretty good there. Just making sure everything gets soldered in correctly. I want to make sure all my solder joints are good. Okay, let's go over here. All right, let's make sure we get perfect. Let's make sure everything is looking good. Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. Making sure that's good. Let's do this one. That row is looking good. All right, almost there, friends. Getting there in this F row. Looking good. Cool. Coming along. Almost done with the F row. All right. Awesome, awesome. All right, cool. Looking good. Looking good. Yeah, 2 more switches on the F row and then we'll test it, but I think we're looking pretty good. Cool. All right, friends, let me just wipe off my soldering tip. We got that. Cool. All right, we have our F row done. F row is properly installed. Look at that, looking good. So there is our F row. Let's test it really quick. All right, let's see what we got. So we got our F row. Let's just reset my thing. Okay, F1 to F4. Pretty good. F5, F6. F6 is being a little bit weird. I'm probably going to swap out F6. Not getting the best signal from that one. We got to go to Vial for the F13. So we go to Vial. Yeah, okay, I want to check that F6. I think we might have to swap. I might just swap out F6 because it's not responding correctly. So let me just adjust. All right, let me see. Matrix. Okay. All right, yeah, F6 is faulty. So we're going to swap that switch plate out. So you're going to kind of see how I swap switches. So yeah, F6 is not what I want it to be. So we're going to swap that. We're going to desolder this switch. So we're going to pull out the desolder gun and I'll show you guys how I desolder stuff. So I'll show you my main soldering tool. Makes life like 1,000 times easier. If you're going to get into solder boards or do like a lot of solder builds, I definitely recommend this tool. This is the Hako FR301. Amazing solder tool. If you're going to be soldering boards, definitely get one of these. This thing is not cheap, but I can't imagine working on boards, especially with Alps, without this tool. So it's absolutely worth it. So essentially what happens, this tip, you put that to the solder joint, heats it up, and you press the vacuum, and it sucks it up, and it makes desoldering like 1,000 times easier. I can desolder a whole board in like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, depending on the board. So we're doing F6. I want to do that one. So we're deciding. I just got to wait for that red light to come off, and that'll mean I'm fully good. So, all right, just waiting for that red light to go off. Come on, people. Come on. There we go. Let's get it going. Let's desolder this puppy. Crap. I already have a clog. Already? Really? Already have it clogged up. What the heck? Give me a second. I did clean this damn thing. Yeah, another thing too about this tool, it's a very sensitive and finicky tool. So give me a second. There we go. So it's very sensitive and very finicky. So it's a very high maintenance tool. So you got to be on top of like maintenance and cleaning. And I did clean it out last night, but all right, give me a second. Yeah, there's a clog. This is some crap that's stuck in there. So give me a second. Yeah, there's just some crap stuck in here, so give me a second. I think that there's your problem. Yeah, I just had stuff stuck on it. So, very high maintenance tool, but as long as you stay on top of your maintenance and know how to like take it apart and know where like the replacement and wear parts are in this thing, it's a really great tool. So, all right, let's try that. I think that should do it. Yep, we're good. Yep, we're good. All right, let's pull that switch out. Let me get one of my tools. Hold up. All right, let's pull that switch out, and then we're going to replace it because, again, I want to make sure that all the switches we place in here are 100% good to go. So I don't want any faulty switches. I want all these switches to be perfect for the client so they can enjoy this board. So there we go. All right, let's solder this one in. Cool. Put that one. Awesome. Perfect. All right, let's test that again. Let's test that F6, and should be good. All right. F6 is good. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's good. Cool. All right, we are good there. I'm gonna put my the soldering gun to the side. We may need that again. So let's put in. So pretty much everything so far is good to go here in terms of switches. So now what we're gonna do, we're on the home stretch of switches. So we're gonna put in the numbers in the alpha cluster, and then we'll go. Once those are soldered in, we will then test everything. So let's get all these switches in, and then we're gonna do some testing. So let's get them going. There's our number row. Started with our alphas. But yeah, really nice switches. So let's get them in there. Perfect. Yeah, it's starting to really look like a keyboard now, which is awesome. All right, one more. Oh man, look at that! Look at that! Oh yeah! Look at that. Look at all those switches. That looks so good. So good. So good. And you got Careless's logo right there, which just looks badass. So, beautiful, beautiful board. So, love how this is shaping up. So, perfect. All right, let's get my soldering stuff going, and then we'll start testing everything. So, let's get that going. Perfect. Let's get my vent plugged in. Yeah, so it's looking good, my man. So, we're going to get this puppy going. Get my soldering tip going. Get a nice lead of solder going. Perfect. Awesome. So, let's turn my vent on, and let's get the home stretch of soldering done. Cool. Looking good, friends. All right. Going good. Alright, our number row is good. Let's put a little more solder on that joint. Numbers are solid. So now we're just going to do our main alpha cluster, and then we should be good to go on this one. So that's pretty good. Cool. Looking good, friends. 2 more rows, everybody, and then we can start testing. Coming along. Get me more solder lead. There we go. Cool. All right, cool. One more row, and then we can do our final batch of switch testing. So home stretch, everybody, and soldering. Few more switches, friends. Alright, what's up, Jekko? What's up, man? Alright, we have Jekko on here. He's the person who we built the keyboard for last night on stream. So, Jekko, we built Jekko the KVD Fence Tofu with Macintosh keycaps and orange Alps. So, yeah, Jekko's dope. So, he was one of our awesome people we built the board for last night. So, again, Jack, my folks who are getting, my 2 clients who are on here, your boards will get shipped out Tuesday. So we'll ship your boards Tuesday, and you probably should have them probably by next weekend or the end of next week. So that's what we got. So good times, everybody. Good times. So we're just finishing up this board. We're doing a Frog TKL with Alps SKCM White clicky Alps. So really, really cool switches. So we're just on the final batch of soldering. And then we're going to test the alpha and the number cluster on this TKL. And if those switches all check out, we'll see if we have to swap any of them. And then we'll be good to put this in the case and do keycaps and see this final puppy. So let me just wipe off my soldering tip. We just soldered our last switch. Let me turn off my vent. There we go. Let's put that to the side. There we go. Oh, that's a lot of soldering, everybody. But we got all of our solder joints done. So let's flip it over. Look at those white Alps. Look at those. Awesome. So, all right, everybody. I am going to wrap up my solder wire. Perfect. Let's plug this puppy in, and let's see what we got. Awesome. So, okay. Also, yeah, my client, you do have underglow RGB. I'm going to turn it off. If you want to turn it on, you're not going to see it in the case, but you do get that Pro Gamer RGB on the bottom that's programmable. But I just keep it on just to know the PCB is working while we do this. So, all right, let's reset my switch tester, and let's go into my main cluster. So plus, minus. So far, number row is good. We got a dead switch. Yeah, so this bracket not being great, so we'll swap that one out. Letter U and one of our brackets we'll swap. So we have two switches. So we have our left bracket and we have the letter U, which is being weird. Okay, that row is solid. All right, cool. So we're just going to do everything works except for our left bracket and the letter U. So we're going to swap those to some new switches. Let's get the desolder gun fired up, and we'll put in those. We'll desolder these two faulty switches, and then we'll put in the new ones, and then we'll just test those again. So this is just part of the process. So when you're dealing with 30 to 40-year-old switches, you're going to have some switches that are a little faulty. That's just part of dealing with old technology, and these are even after my restoration. So it's kind of tough. So we'll just make sure that red light, until that red light turns off, and then we'll be good to go. So that's part of the process of Alps. So it's a very involved process, but yeah, make it work. So that's part of the fun. So just make sure that red light comes off. Come on, come on. But yeah, having 3 faulty switches on this board is nice. That's actually really, really good. So, I mean, these switches were in pretty good condition, and again, they didn't need much restoration work on them. So, yeah, Jekko, you got a really, not Jekko, Welvin, you're getting a really nice set of switches on this board. So these are really good switches. These switches approximately were produced in the early 1990s, just to kind of date them. So these were made later in Alps production run. So White Alps were introduced in the early 90s. So I'd say the first half of the 1990s, your switches were produced. So, yeah. So let me just make sure I'm clicking the right one. Yeah, that one right there. Third one in. Yeah, perfect. Oh, for crap's sake. Are we really having another... God, we're having... Yeah, this machine has been really annoying. We got another freaking clog. So, fun. You get to see me maintain this dumb tool. There we go. Fun. Get to deal with another freaking clog here. Fun. Cool. All right, there we go. Just had another piece of solder stuck in there, so fun times. Cool. All right, we should be good now. Yeah, we're good. All right, sorry, that's just the finicky part of this damn tool. So it's there we go. Really? We get another freaking clog already, bro? Really? All right. Let's try and get this other one first before we have to deal with the clog. Give me a second, everybody. So now we have that one. So we need to do letter U, I assume. So that one, we have 3 of that one. This one. All right, we got to deal with this clog. Yeah. Damn. I don't know what's, yeah, so. Definitely have to do a deep clean of this tool once I'm done with this tonight, because I got to use it tomorrow on stream. So, hey, it's fine, everybody. That's part of working with these tools and working with these switches, is just maintaining your tools and your equipment. So, I do maintain my stuff. It's just really interesting why this is. Yikes, that's a big chunk of something. Yikes. Yeah, there's still something stuck in there. Hopefully that did it. So, yeah, just keep pulling crap out of it. Yeah, it was stuck in there. So, fun, everybody. Get to see all those tools. Man, I've been on it for about 2 hours. Crazy. Crazy. All right. Got that taken care of. Let's put the nozzle back on. All right, fun. Let's try it. Oh, there we go. That's the sound I want to hear. All right, we're gonna let this puppy heat up. We're gonna crank the heat up just so we can melt all that crap in there. So let that heat up, and then we'll see what we can do. So let's get these switches out in the meantime. Let's get my switch opener. So let's pull out this bracket. So these ones that are a little deeper in, got to take them apart to get them out. So, and another cool thing about Alps switches, unlike Cherry MX, you can work on them while they are soldered into the board. So that's another kind of cool feature about Alps. You can work on these boards and maintain them while they're installed in the board. So that is a really, really cool feature about Alps, which I love. Let's put that one away. Let's put this one back together. Cool. That one to the side, and let's get this switch plate out. Cool. These switch plates are, so this is the part that's usually defective. So that's your switch. So that's going to be your switch plate. So you have your contact leaf at the top, and you have your pins that stick out of the bottom. So this has actually a ton of different parts. This has like 5 or 6 different parts inside it. So just the parts inside these just usually corrode or just break down over time. So yeah, this is the point of failure. So I have actually a metric crap load of these on hand, and I have a ton of Alps parts. So no big deal there. So I'll pull this part out, and we'll put some 2 fresh switches in. That should be pretty good, and then I think we should be ready to move on. So let's get that in there. Let's put 2 new switches in. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Got those installed. Let's get my solder wire out and let's solder these 2 in. And then we should be good to go. So let's do this. Awesome. We got that one in. That one's soldered in. Cool. And we're good. All right. So let me just wipe off my solder tip really quick. Put that aside. Give me a second. I just want to. Give me a second. I cranked the temperature up on this thing to like 1,000 degrees, just so I can get all that crap out of there. All right. Let's see. Give me a minute. While this thing's hot, I want to get all this crap out of there. There's a big clog in there. All right, give me a second. Before we move on to this, I want to get this cleaned out really quick, everybody. So you can watch me maintain this machine on stream. So, there we go. Awesome. We got our nozzle. Let me just clean this puppy out really quick. So, yeah, so I'll tell you this. If you're going to get one of these Hackos, just make sure you just really learn how this tool works. And actually learn how to properly maintain and how to properly clean it. It's a great tool, but the one thing about this is a very high maintenance tool. So, oh yeah, look at all that crap. So, it's a fantastic tool. You just want to know just how to take care of it. Like, that's just kind of my honest recommendation on it. Just learn how to work on it. Learn how to properly maintain this tool, and you'll be good to go. Cool. Just getting all that crap out of this tube right here, so give me a second, everybody. Nice. Yeah, it's getting a lot of this stuff out of here. Give me a second. Cool. All right. Awesome. I think we should be good. All right, let's crank my temperature down, let this thing cool down. Cool. Let's put my little cleaning thing away. All right, let's unplug this. Let this puppy sit to the side. I think we're done with the soldering gun for tonight. All right, there we go. Coolio. All right, let's get back to our PCB. There we go, friends. Let me just thanks for letting me do that detour. So. Okay, left brackets are good. All right, letter U is good. I think we are pretty much good to go on this board. I'm going to test everything in VIA, and then I'm going to test it in Vial. So we're just going to do a round of testing, but I think we're done with soldering. So I'm going to turn off my soldering iron. Page down. Okay. Home cluster arrows are good. Bottom row is good. Okay, that F row is good. All right, number row is good. Enter is good. All right, we're good in VIA. I just want to check Vial really quick because that's kind of our primary customization. So we're going to go over to Vial really quick. So let's get Vial. Come on, Google. I mean, not Vial. Let's load up. There we go. Here we go. Let's just make sure we're programmed correctly. So we want H87. Perfect. Let's go to my matrix tester. So we're just going to test everything again. So we're just double checking everything. I'm just being very thorough in testing this because I don't want this to go to the client and for them to have a faulty switch. So I'm going to be very thorough in my testing. So far, I think we are pretty good to go. I'm just double and triple checking our switches. So this is just part of my methodology to make sure we have some good switches. Okay. All right, friends. We are good. Everything on this board works 100%. So that is great. So that is our board assembly, which is really nice. I'm just going to put some tools to the side just because we're kind of done with those. So, all right, cool. All right, so let me just put some tools away really quick, just to the side, just so I have a little bit more room here. Give me a second, friends. So, cool. All right, so we are good. So there is our assembly. So that's everything. We are all soldered into place. all of our keys work. So this looks awesome. These are going to sound great. So let's get this installed in the case, and then we'll do final assembly with the keycaps. So let me get the tadpoles installed. Let me just dump everything here. So my screws and everything. So the tadpoles. So one thing about the Geon Frog line, they use the tadpole mounting system. It's kind of a hybrid of top mount and gasket mount. So really nice. So we're just going to put these in. We'll put this in the top case. So this is, once we get it in the case, it's going to look really sick. So let's get those in. All right. So perfect. We got those side in. Let's get that side. Let's get these puppies in. Yeah, this board looks fantastic. It's going to be awesome. All right, a couple more. Come on, there you go. And there we go. So we got those in. Let me grab my top case. And we'll drop this puppy in. There we go. So we're going to drop this in, push all the tadpoles in. So there we go. Push all those tadpoles in. Make sure we got a nice solid mount. Perfect. So there we go. We got our top assembly. Let's grab the bottom case. And then let's push these puppies together. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's get a couple of the screws in there. So we can just screw it together. Perfect. All right. Getting that together. Cool. Put the rest of these screws in here. Yeah. Perfect. All right, let's get these four corners in, and then we'll put the feetsies on, and then we'll definitely get a look at this puppy. And then we'll put the keycaps on, so it's going to be sweet. Give me a second, there's a smudgy here. It's just because my hands are like covered in stuff from today. So there we go. Awesome. Just make sure all of our screws are good. And then we'll put our feetsies on. Alright, cool. That is good. Let's take this off, take the work pad off. And there you go. Look at that. So, woo, it's going to be great. Alright, let's pull all these keycaps over here and let's start putting keycaps on. We got a big keycap set here. So let's push my wires, all that crap out of the way. Done with that. Not using that stuff, but we're going to get all of our keycaps spread out. Just so we can see everything. Look at that. Cool. Alright, so we're going non-set caps lock. So, there we go. Let's put our slash there. Alright, which one did I put on mine? Okay. Cool. Let's get our tab. So we're going to start putting keycaps on this puppy. So, there we go. Let's get it going. So you're going to start seeing this puppy come to life. Oops. Cool. Let's get control. Let's find our other control for this one. Oops, not that one. No, we don't want that. Here we go. Now that's our backspace. Shift, where the heck are you? It's in here. Gotta find it. There we go. Yeah, looking good, friends. Look at that. Yep, we're good. All right. Now let's start putting in some of our other ones. So let's do F7. Okay, we'll do F9. We'll do 8. Perfect. All right. All right, everybody. Press F to pay respects. Look at that. Got our main alphas coming in. Got numbers. So, yeah, as we get more of these on here, it's going to really, really come together. All right, let's get these keycaps lined up. All right, so 0, F10. All right, starting to look good. So B and M. Thank you, friends, for the F's in the chat. C. So it's definitely starting to come together. You're starting to see it look like a keyboard, which is really nice. So, all right, let's just see. So we're getting it coming together, which is really nice. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know why it comes with 2 red ISO enters. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what the set comes with. So, really weird. But hey, man, I don't question signature plastics. So, I mean, I do, but that's a story for another day, friends. Okay, insert. It's going over here. Perfect. Got our end key. Mount that page up. So, yeah. But yeah, this plate does not support ISO, so just as an FYI. So you are stuck to ANSI on this one. All right. Cool, just finding our keycaps as we kind of move along. Nope. All right. So it's really starting to come together. Got arrows, looking good. Yeah, we're on the home stretch, everybody. Okay, that page down is not the correct one. Give me a second. There we go. Just making sure profile is good. All right. F5. There's our delete key. Let's make sure that's the right one. Yeah, we're good. Making sure our home cluster looks good. That's our scroll lock. Just one of our arrows. We have F13. Look at that. Get our A. We got number 3. Perfect. Okay, we need to find my F8, and then my escape. All right, cool. All right, almost there. Just gotta find some of our arrows. There's our arrow key. We need to look for our page up. There's our page up. And then we're looking for pause. Where the heck are you? There you go. All right, friends. Yeah, I really wish this set included big-ass enters, to be completely honest. But yeah, Welvin. Jekko, yeah, your build's sick too, my man. So, yeah, there we go. So, Welvin, I can kind of tell you what your kind of options for, like, color accents are going to be. So you can do a pink or green escape. Insert could be pink. And then your enters could be green or pink or beige. So those are kind of your options when you get it, my man. And then I guess another option you can kind of do too. So like your escapes could be, sorry, let me just kind of put these up here just to kind of show you some color options, because there are a couple other options you could do. So your / could also be this white color if you don't want it to be beige. And also your tilde button could also be, instead of white, it could be a beige color. So those are just kind of, I mean, if you want to take a picture or take a screenshot, those are just kind of your real kind of color options with 9009. All of these remaining keys are just kind of different options. And there's one other option too that you could do too. Right now I have the line, so for like the little nubs for like your, just to let you know where if you're a touch typist, I have them as the lines right now. If you don't like the lines, you could do dots. So your F and your J could be dots. So you could also just kind of figure out what your preference is in terms of what you want to do with those. I think I'm going to put these keycaps in a separate bag, just so when you get it, they're separate from all these other keys. These other keys are for like if you have a 6.25 bottom row, you're doing like a 75% or 65%, or like some of the other like European layouts like ISO. So there's a lot of really good options with this keycap set. Most of these are going to be for other layouts or like ISO or some of the some of the European layouts. So I'm going to put these in kind of two separate. I'm going to put the main keycaps in one bag, but these extra option keycaps, I'm going to put these in a separate bag. So when you get it, you can kind of figure out like if you want any color accents, and also if you want your tilde or your / to be a different color. So I'm going to put those. I'm going to get one of my baggies out just to put those in a separate bag for you, my man. So let me get one of my bags out. Give me a second. Here we go. So I'm going to get in a separate little baggie out just to put those in. Just so you have just those kind of separated. So that's just going to make life a little bit easier for you when you get the board in hand. I keep the bags when I get parts and stuff on hand. You never know when you need baggies like for stuff like this. So but yeah, there we go, friends. That is really sick. So let me just put these color option accent keys in a separate bag for you, Jekko. I mean, not Jekko, Welvin. Just so you know that these are your options to kind of just further customize this the way you want to. So these keycaps, when you see this bag and when you get it in the mail, these are just going to be your options you can put on yourself to figure out what you like. But yeah, that's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool board. I think it looks absolutely amazing. So really cool board. Let me put the rest of these keycaps in the bigger bag that it came in too. Oh, awesome, 3Taka. Yeah, added me, and then we can definitely, I'll be able to answer any questions you need, my man. So once we get off stream and I get this uploaded to YouTube, I can probably answer you later this evening. So yeah, just like add me. I mean, crud, I'll open up Discord right now. I'll make sure I add you, my man. And then I see your friend request. Let me just go to pending. All right, cool. All right, 3Taka, I just accepted your friend request, my man. So yeah, just shoot me whatever questions you have, my man. I think you had some Alps questions. Yeah, just shoot away and I'll answer you later tonight. So there you go, my man. So let me just put these away because again, our client's gonna get these. So again, Welvin, this is in a separate little bag. Just look for the Duroc bag, and these are your extra options just to kind of customize the layout how you like. Yeah, dude. Talk later, 3Taka. It's all good, dude. So let me put these to the side, because that's what's the client's gonna get when I get that mail to them. But let's take a look at the board. So, give me a second, friends. We got. Well, I'm just dropping stuff back here on the side. Sorry about that, friends. There we go, friends. Let's put all that crap to the side. So let's kind of focus on this board. Oh, I didn't get the little feetsies back on here. So yeah, we can also compare it to my frog. So let's figure out what's what. That's this one. So I'll pull my frogs out too. We can kind of do a comparison. Cool. Cool. All right. Cool. There we go. So we got our feet on. So that's our back. And then this is going to be our front. So that's really, really good. Yeah, so I think keeping it white, it's like the Cerakote is fine. There are some chips. Most of your, like I say, defects in the coating are going to be on the bottom. There is one chip right here. If you really look at it, you can see it in the coating on the top. And there's like there's a couple of them right here. That's just how I got the board. So I don't know. Cerakote's kind of weird. Cerakote's an art form. Like some shot, like you really, like when it comes to Cerakote, especially if you get it done yourself, you really got to find a Cerakote person who really knows what they're doing. It takes years to learn it and to do it properly. I don't think whoever did this Cerakote, I don't think did a very good job. But I mean, Welvin, I have my Cerakote guy who does fantastic and amazing work. So in the future, if you ever want to get this recoated, again, just definitely reach out to me, or I can give you his contact. And again, his prices are really reasonable. So but I would definitely recommend in the future. But like honestly, it's fine for what it is. But this is basically our board. So we have a Geon Works Frog TKL. So it's an F13. My recommendation, you can look him Indy, if you want to message me, I can message you on Discord, but look up Premium Cerakote and Sandblasting. He's located in Santa Fe Springs, California. So he's right here in Southern California. You can mail stuff to him, but he's on Instagram. He has a website. If you want me to share his contact with you, I can shoot me a DM and I can give you his direct contact. He's a really good guy. He's really primarily focuses in like car parts and like firearms. And that's like what Cerakote's most commonly used for is like guns and cars. He did my computer about 2 years ago. He Cerakoted my Case Labs case. But I'd say about a year and a half ago, I brought him a keyboard and he kind of looked at me weird. And I said, it's the same as a gun or a car part. It's made out of metal. And other people in Southern California have brought keyboards to him. So last time I was in there dropping off a project, he had a couple keyboards in the shop. So he's a really good guy. He's a small local business, so it's nice to support a small business. But his shop is really good, and he's really good at what he does. He does really good color matching. He will charge extra if it's not like an off-the-shelf Cerakote part, because that's just more work for him. But it usually takes him, I'd say, 3 to 4 weeks when you drop something off, depending on how busy the shop is. When I bring stuff to him, I tell him, take as long as you need, because also I'm a small client. Like he has some clients who are, I may be paying him like $150, $300 to do a keyboard, but he may have clients who are paying several $1,000s for like really, really big projects, like a bunch of car parts or like big industrial stuff. So I just tell them, take your time. And so it usually takes him about 3 to 4 weeks to do it, but the weight and the work he does is worth it. I have several boards, personal boards that I've had done Cerakoted by him, and I've also had boards done for client commissions, that have a couple client commissions that have been Cerakoted by him. So really good. So let's do a little bit of a sound test, and then we'll also, before we do that, let's bring out my frogs, and we'll kind of compare this board to my frogs. So I got my 8K frog. So we got 3 freaking frogs today. So we got hella expensive keyboards here right now. So yeah, we got, look at that, frogs for days, everybody. So yeah, so there you go. Yeah, again, premium sandblasting and Cerakote. But yeah, friends, I have Geon frogs for your frogs. And on the topic of frogs, I also have, like, just to kind of get more crazy, I also have frogs for your frogs. So, like, I can't tell, I don't know if you guys can tell if I like the Geon Works Frog line. Yeah, there's one more on my desk. Give me a second. Let me go grab it. I can't put it on here, which is so damn heavy. I'll show you my creme de la creme. This is the board we're going to... Give me a second. So, yeah, I have all the frogs. And then I have one more. Give me a second, everybody. Oh, dude, frogs for days. I know, it's crazy. All right, here's my... this is what we're going to build tomorrow on stream if you're really curious. I had to tear it apart. I can't put this on the boards because it's so damn heavy. I have a Frog Mini Passante. This thing is absolutely insane. If you're curious, you want to see how this is built, we're going to build this with Alps SKCL Cream linear switches tomorrow. This thing is a 60%. It weighs almost 10 pounds. This thing is ridiculous. Solid brass, and the weight is stainless steel. This thing is absolutely crazy. So this will be on display at Keep Life too. So this is a really crazy board. So we're going to build this on stream tomorrow. So you really want to see another kind of crazy cool build from, and this is my personal, oh, it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely insane. It's solid brass, and the weight, yes, it has a weight, as if brass wasn't enough, and the weight's stainless steel. So crazy. So yeah, we have a lot of frogs. I love the frog line. Probably my favorite line of keyboards. So yeah, let me put my frogs away. Kind of compare this one. I want to take my 8K away. I want to compare this one to mine. Dude, the Passante is sick. I don't recommend buying it from Geon because I had to pay $100. It's a $300 board, just the case. I had to pay a $150 tariff because it's not produced in South Korea. It's produced in China. So my recommendation: do not buy the Passante because you're going to pay an over 50% tariff on it when it goes through U.S. Customs. So it's cool at $300. If you can find someone who has selling one on MechMarket or someone within the country, go for it. Do not buy it from Geon right now. I would say wait until a tariff situation hopefully gets resolved, because paying a 50% tariff on the damn thing is ridiculous. Yeah, and that's what sucks too. Like, Geon is switching a lot of production over to China, which means, because I bought my 2 frogs, like these 2 frogs I got from Geon, but they came from South Korea, so I didn't get tariffed on them. But my Passante and my Ligera, I paid 50% tariffs on them coming in, so that sucks. So my advice is, if you're going to buy something direct from Geon, look at the fine print on the product page and make sure it was produced in South Korea. Because if it's produced in China, oh my God, don't buy it. Yeah, they had to move the anodization process to China because I think South Korea passed new environmental laws. So yeah, I'm going to move my 8K out of the way just so this is a more one-to-one comparison. So we have my frog, and then we have our client frog up here. So this is the client's frog. This is my frog. So this is the cookies and cream colorway, which is really, really pretty. Really love this colorway on this one. So really, really nice. So, but yeah, well, let's do a sound test on both of these. Just kind of get a one-to-one, compare it to mine, compare the clients. There we go. Let's just pull my wires so we can. There we go, friends. All right, there we go. Let's do a sound test. So this is the clients. Yeah, it sucks now. I hate the tariff situation. Why do our governments hate us? It's okay. All right, let's do a sound test, everybody. So that's what it sounds like, friends. It's really, really cool. Let's do a little sound test of my frog compared to the client one. Again, this has the white ivory Alps. These are the other dampened tactile that Alps made back in the day. So these are a lot quieter. So compare this. So Cool. All right, let me put my microphone back up where it goes. Cool. All right, so I'm going to put mine over to the side just so we can focus on our actual client build. Give me a second. We just got to find space for all this crap behind me. So I want to do one last test, everybody. So now that it's actually fully assembled, I just want to do one last test. So in Vial and Via, and then we're going to get on out of here. So yeah. So I'll tell you, these switches are a lot louder than the audio. I'll tell you, a sound test that you got to try the boards in person. They don't really do it justice. You got to hear it in person, but these are really freaking loud switches, and it's awesome. So, all right, let me just test everything. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Just pressing all these down. Okay, those are good. I'm going to turn off the lights on the bottom because they're kind of useless here. All right, let's turn them off. Disable the lights. Let's save it. All right, so all the keys look good. Yeah, so when you get the switches, trust me, they'll be unlike anything in terms of sound and feel that you ever used in terms of mechanical keyboards. I want to do one last test. Everything works in Vial. I just want to go into the Via switch tester because I really like the Via switch tester. All right, that looks good. All right, we are good, everybody. This board works 100%. Let me just close the Via really quick, and let's just get one last glamour shot of this board. So there we go, folks. So this board is 100% good to go. Again, Welvin, I'm really excited for you to get your board, my man. So I will ship, again, Jucko and Welvin. I'll send you more details, but your boards will be shipping out on Tuesday. It's Labor Day weekend, so pretty much everything is closed this weekend. So Tuesday is I'd say around midday Pacific Standard Time. I'll mail your boards out, so you guys should have them probably by the end of the week or by next weekend. So yeah, guys, I'm really excited for y'all to get your boards, and we'll be on stream tomorrow again building the Passante. So that's going to be a really cool build. So if you want to see the Passante, I'm aiming for the morning, maybe like 8 or like 9 a.m. So that's what we're kind of aiming up, maybe earlier. I'd say between like 7 and 8 a.m. I'm trying to figure it out, but that's what we're going to do, friends. So the VOD will be up on my YouTube later this evening. So again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a blast, everybody. Have a great and safe evening, everyone.